What is going on, everybody? Gang, gang.
Gang,
Ice
gang.
cream so good.
Yes, 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 yes.
No.
Ice cream so good.
Yes,
Enigma's
yes.
Enigma's so dumb. Enigma's so dumb. Yes, yes,
No.
yes, 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 yes.
Just
Oh,
I'm an
AI
NPC.
podcast is the new meta.
That's what we're
Just
doing,
no.
baby.
It's
Come
not gonna
on.
happen. No.
Come
I
on.
refuse.
We'll start
Chat.
our own meta.
Okay, all right, here we go. Chat, here's what's gonna happen. If we can get to 100 subs right now on YouTube, Enigma will go, yes, 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 gang, gang.
No, no,
No.
no.
No, well, that's
Yes,
okay.
no.
That's close. No, 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 no. That is the Enigma version of the NPC.
That is the
Uh,
Enigma version of the NPC. Indeed.
Well, what is going on,
That would
everybody?
actually be hilarious. Just the disrespectful NPC. Because every game has that NPC that's just a fucking dickhead to you for no reason.
That's Enigma.
That could be your job.
That is me.
That's
true.
That
That is
is
Enigma.
That is accurate. Yes.
That's what's going on. But
That's
welcome
what I
in,
aspire to
everybody.
be.
We are live. Episode number 91 is going out to the masses. And obviously, again, just like I said, we are live right here on YouTube and Twitch. And again, if you do miss the episode, you can always catch this on any of your favorite podcasting apps or anchor.fm/prepatch podcast. So, but we got, man, I know I say this every single time. I say this all the time. Man, you are going to want to hang out until the very end of this show because the last topic of this show is going to be a doozy. We have got a fucking bell ringer of a fight that is going to go off. Talking about that topic. So.
Shocker, shocker, spoilers. It's sin against everybody again.
Yo, I can't wait, baby.
Literally, sin against
Cannot
everyone.
wait, man.
The
I am-
entire community, not
Look,
just us, not just us on the podcast. The entire community.
I literally have put myself in a standing position so I can have my whale wall present here. Right, I am very, very
He's
excited.
embracing the whale wall.
I'm
Love
excited
that.
about what it's about to happen. But again, welcome on in. If you are new here, make sure you say what's up in chat because we do engage with you as you give us your opinions. And like I said, this one's going to be probably a little bit on the spicier side of certain topics. So we definitely want to hear.
Can't be any
your
spicier
thoughts.
than last week with the FTC conversation.
Oh, just fucking wait. You
Oh,
have
that
no.
was tame,
yeah.
bro.
You have no
I
clue
feel like
about.
we were pretty civil, but there was passion.
I'm gonna bring the heat on this one. So
Okay.
But anyway, no.
Cool.
But welcome on in. Super excited to be here. We've got the whole crew again, and everybody is pumped up. And as always, we kick off everything with why did it switch over here? Cool. With the
Platform news.
gaming news. Platform news is technically where it's at. So platform news, we are kicking off with Twitch as always, and Twitch kind of, all the platforms honestly, except for really YouTube, was kind of quiet this week. But TwitchCon did announce their pricing and the dates. It was dates, pricing, and all that kind of stuff for TwitchCon. Tickets went on sale, and people are a little heated about this one, mainly because the partners are not getting a discount.
Oh man,
on
How
this.
dare they?
So
how dare you?
They
Yeah,
already get a higher revenue split. Why?
Did the prices go up this year too?
So the price for tickets, does it show what the? Let me see if it shows what the.
It was like $229 for like or something like that. It was like
Wait, Megan Thee Stallion's gonna be twerking on Master Chief this year. I don't know. That was
where
something
where
else.
can I
Nice.
grab these tickets?
Yeah, so grab these tickets here. Let's see.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
see. So here you go. So
3-day ticket is $229. 1 day is $149, and then the party pass add-on is an additional $100. I don't know what that is compared to the other years though.
it's more expensive.
Is it?
Than what it was? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, again, people are pissed off and upset because again, it is more expensive. People are pissed off because partners are not getting a discount. Some partners would get in for free. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Like at this point, like I obviously am going to TwitchCon because it's for my job. But do you think that like
So what you're
Twitch-
saying is we won't have you for the next 2 weeks after.
most likely, right?
Maybe more.
getting con flu. But I mean, here's my question about TwitchCon. Do you think that TwitchCon is relevant anymore? Like, do you still think it's a big deal? Like, we just had TwitchCon EU, right? Which we know is smaller, but do you think that it's actually still relevant? Like, even post COVID, you know,
I was gonna say, ever since COVID, TwitchCon, I don't think it's been as relevant as it was in the past. I don't know. It was like something switched that year.
Yeah.
There was an uproar that year with like how they were doing their, what was it, like the mask situation and everything. Everybody got upset about that. Then everybody was getting upset about the next one for another reason. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like a bully con now. Everybody just wants to bully Twitch for TwitchCon.
I mean, I think we're getting to the point where
it's pretty standard for Twitch these days. Everybody just wants to bully Twitch regardless. They've been doing a lot of L's regardless. So
they have. So I mean, but it definitely, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's as relevant as it was.
I'm honestly, I expect it to go the way of E3 here.
Yeah.
After this year, probably this will probably be the last TwitchCon. Calling it
you
now.
think? You think this will be the last one?
That.
Potentially.
I don't know if it'll be the
doubt it.
last
I think it's
one.
still got some cons in them. I don't know.
I mean, I know that
There's definitely some cons, but
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, I know that
I don't know.
I know that they're gonna, like, you know, we lost E3. E3 is no more, right? E3 is obviously gone digital. Are you sipping on an alcoholic beverage?
Yeah, I'm gonna need it for this podcast. I think.
What is first off? What is that? What was that?
It's just.
It's
Jack
not a
on
buzz
ice.
ball. It's
No, it's just Jack. It's just Jack on rocks.
so not Jack
Jack
off on
rocks,
ice.
baby.
Yeah.
So not Jack off on
nothing.
ice.
No, that's a whole nother movie, man. It's like,
Anyway,
what is it, the Blades movie?
Goodness gracious.
Blades of Glory.
Blades of
Refocus.
Glory. There it is. Thank you.
Focus.
I got you, bud.
Refocus.
Uh,
Refocus.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I just don't know if TwitchCon really. I just don't even know if it's even something to get excited about. I mean, obviously, this is the first one I think we've had back since COVID. Because right? No, there was one. Was there one? No, there was
TwitchCon
there
Paris
last
just
year, right?
barely.
Right.
Yeah, we had one last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I honestly kind of think, like, even going to PAX, like when I was at PAX, it was fun and it was exciting, but at the same time, it just didn't feel like PAX.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is like I think that if we're gonna have a conversation about like Twitch no longer being relevant, I think that conventions in general, a lot of conventions in general, are becoming irrelevant, or at least people aren't wanting to go to them as much.
First
Like
of all-
obviously you have like E3 and you have like Gamescom and everything like that, and those are huge in spectacle, right? Because those are your major conventions where you're getting a ton of huge announcements and everything like that, right? But like TwitchCon, stuff like that, you don't really go to TwitchCon for huge announcements. It's more of just like a popularity contest, in my opinion. When it comes to TwitchCon, it's more of a schmoozer type
That
deal.
100% is. It's for influencers to make connections. I feel like more than it is for the general public. Yes, you can meet and greet with your favorite streamers and stuff, but it's mainly there for influencers to tighten up connections, make new connections,
Get drunk, party, and go
I was about to
crazy
say
too.
have
Break-
stupid fucking parties, break your backs. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely more of a spectacle. I mean, honestly, it's going to feed, I think, a lot of like what Twitch is kind of hoping for is that this is going to feed the news circuit around the influencer space of just chatting, because that's what streaming has become for the next umpteen amount of weeks after, you know, the show, because obviously you're going to have drama, you're going to have, you know, whatever's going to happen.
I remember what happened a few years ago is when they kicked Sykkuno out.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I was trying to think of.
It was
actually,
last
just-
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that, and then
Weird.
obviously too, like, you know, you like, here's the biggest thing that I wish Twitch would take into consideration with this. And obviously they can only police it so much, but like, it is like TwitchCon is almost becoming a place of, you know, degeneracy where like people do things that they, especially being in Vegas, like I'm just imagining what is going to happen.
I was gonna say that, man. I'm nervous that it's in Vegas this year.
Yeah, like
I
you're
mean,
gonna.
granted, what was it, LA, like the past
No, it
years,
was in
right?
San Diego, like,
or
it
San
was in
Diego.
San
Yeah.
Diego.
Yeah.
Not much of a difference, but Las Vegas.
There's
people
a
are gonna
big
go-
difference between
people
Las
are
Vegas
gonna go
and-
nuts.
I don't know about that. Then not recently, at least, but
Yeah.
Like it's yeah, so I don't know, but I wish they would tighten up on some of the debauchery and like stuff, because you did have like like a couple years ago that whole where everybody, like a bunch of, you know, female content creators came out and said that they were just like, you know, basically groped and all these other kind of things. So
Was that with all the Me Too stuff?
I mean, yeah, it kicked
that-
off
is-
the whole like
I thought, yeah.
all of that kind of stuff around the Twitch
the
streamerverse.
one that cracked me up with this was I don't think I added in there. I saw a tweet earlier in this week that I I don't know what content creator it was. She was a higher up content creator that was complaining about the after party. Apparently to get into the after party, they give you these like free like drink vouchers that you can go and get like alcoholic beverages, everything like that. And apparently on that drink voucher, it says like alcoholic beverages, non-alcoholic beverages, and water. And she was like, "How dare you? It's a $15 drink voucher for water. How fucking dare?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that they're going to offer you water for free regardless. They're just offering you the ability to have water if you don't drink alcohol.
Yeah, I don't
like this is what I'm talking about with especially with this Twitch announcing that the tickets are more expensive, right?
People pick and choose any little detail and blow it out of proportion. That's what it is.
But
like,
that's what we're talking about, right? It's like it's more expensive. And when it comes down to it, like it's a convention. Everything is more expensive at a convention. Have you ever been to like a
going to a rock concert or a
rock concert?
Yeah.
I went to Five Finger Death Punch about 5 or 6 months ago, right? I paid fucking $8 for a bottle of water. Like
yeah, dude. Tall boys are like 16, 17 bucks. It's nuts.
My sister-in-law paid like $16 for a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I paid $8 for a hot dog at PAX. Yeah. So
it just cracked.
You paid anything for a glizzy, man. I thought you were just getting those for free.
What? No.
It cracks me up. Jesus Christ, we're gonna get fucking demonetized without even fucking trying. Okay. Refocus.
In other TwitchCon or Twitch news, unless there's somebody else that wants to say anything else about TwitchCon.
Actually, there is one more thing I want to say about this. Sin, as an official spokesperson of the Pre-Patch Podcast, you are hereby banned from any convention here on out.
Well, too bad. I'm going. I gotta
you
go
are not going to.
So, I just won't lick all the doorknobs like I did at PAX. So.
Yeah, stop licking all those glizzies, man. Jesus.
The other side of it, which nope, that's this is as much as I hate promoting Drama Alert, Amouranth was banned and has subsequently been unbanned. As of today, for the 7th time on Twitch. I think the big reason why this is somewhat news for us, at least, is because she has primarily been she moved over to Kick. She got paid to go to Kick. Obviously, it was an unlicensed or
unrestricted
contract. She could float wherever she wanted to. It's just interesting.
She's been multi-streaming on the same at the same time between the two.
Yeah. Well, hold. Is that multicasting? We don't know if that's what she got banned for. Nobody knows what she got banned for. Right. That's just my personal take. I'm curious to see if that's what she got banned for. Obviously, we've covered it many times. Amouranth could get banned for a lot of things. She's done it in the past. This is the 7th one.
But we don't know for sure that she was simulcasting, do
we? We have no idea. She
is still streaming.
She does
Twitch.
multi-stream. Yes, she
does multi-stream, but we don't know if it's.
We don't know if she's doing it at the same time. Exactly. Right. So that was just my thought on it. Was like maybe they got her multi-streaming on both platforms, which is against TOS for Twitch, and she's big enough for Twitch to be looking at that.
Maybe it's the fact that twerking that she did on Kick and she also
on Kick.
Very
it was
possible.
That's possible too, man.
Terrible. It wouldn't
be the first time that they've banned somebody for out of platform content.
Who was the one that got banned just recently for twerking? Wasn't it Alinity? It was Alinity. Yeah, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, she got banned for twerking.
Yeah. Or it could be the fact that she announced that she was working with an AI company or a startup company of making an AI clone of herself. With voice and likeness.
Fucking girlfriend thing.
Yeah.
Subscription model AI girlfriend.
Yeah.
Hey man, parasocial relationships.
Bro, she wants to start use that for like a sex bot thing. Like,
hey man. Parasocial relationships, like I said.
To be fair, I'm assuming that most of the top tier OnlyFans girls already have some sort of botting in place for their chats and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but this is this is going to a whole other level of creating a robot with an AI likeness that you can have sex with, that looks like I don't know, man. Okay,
But
no,
it's not just like an AI, like
no. Oh, part of it is the
Oh.
AI, like, but she wants to take it into like
Like
this
a physical
robot
model.
Yeah, like a physical thing. So
good God.
So at
Yeah.
what point is it gonna be that AI on stream instead of Amaranth?
At what
Right.
point does the AI
Yeah.
think that they're the real Amaranth and try to purge the others?
what's to say it's not? She does that. That Amaranth is not already a robotic Amaranth. If you saw that
Right?
twerking video, you definitely would question whether or not she was real or not, because that shit was terrible.
We're
Uh,
gonna need to pull it up. Just pull it up. We
I
gotta
am
see that real
not pulling it
fast.
up. We're gonna get banned on.
It's rough, man. It's
on
rough.
Twitch. Look it up on
Oh,
your own
man.
damn self. So anyway, so that's the Twitch news. Moving on, we do have some YouTube stuff that came out where YouTube's premium price is. Why is my mouse is going fucking haywire? But YouTube Premium is going up, and like along with all of these companies that do this, it was done trying to do quietly. Like they tried not to kind of announce it that it was actually going up in price. It was just gonna be in the middle of the night, like, oh no, it's now $2 more. So it did jump from $12 to $14, according to
On the reason
updated sign up
the re-
page.
the reason why I brought this up as well is because like literally I think it was last week or the week before that we talked about how YouTube is starting to fight against ad blockers,
Ad blocks,
right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we talked about that literally like 3 weeks ago, something like that, right? This YouTube Premium is what they push on people for ad block. Like, oh, instead of blocking our ads, you should buy YouTube Premium, and then you don't have to deal with ads.
Yeah,
But
it's
now
so-
you're going to
for
make
them
YouTube
to
Premium
make
more
it
expensive.
More expensive makes no sense, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's saying that, and this comes from Engadget, by the way, but it says that on top of eliminating ads, YouTube Premium also offers features like offline viewing, background
Yeah.
playback. Without it, your video will stop playing when the app is minimized or your phone screen is off. Because that's what I want to have. I want to have my video playing in the background whenever my fucking phone is off, because that's makes
Well,
sense.
A lot
That's-
of people, surprisingly, and I didn't think that this was the case, but a lot of people actually do use YouTube as like a Spotify, as like
Yeah,
a
I was
a
gonna say
music
that's
listening
not
device.
the worst feature to have. It sucks. It's locked behind premium. But it's just crazy. Like free ad block or $12 premium now.
$14.
$14.
Yeah, now
$14 premium.
$14, yeah.
So what are we gonna pick, everybody?
Exactly.
Like
Well,
that's
also
just-
too, like
that's
I don't
mind-blowing to
understand
me.
that they're locking. It says it also allows for higher quality 1080p streaming on some platforms. So
Well,
what
is
is
that the
I don't-
higher
It's higher
FPS?
download. It's a higher download, I think, is what they're talking about. Because
Oh,
like
yeah.
when you download your videos, myself
Oh.
and Bill have had the same issue. When you download your videos or any, I don't even think you can technically download other people's videos unless you go
No,
through a
you
shady
can't
site,
unless,
but
yeah.
if you download your own videos, they're stuck at 720/30. But if you have YouTube Premium, you can download them at 1080/60. It doesn't. You can't download 4K. Like if you upload something at 4K, you can't download full 4K, but you can download it at 1080/60, which you know it is what it is. But yeah, no, the biggest reason why I brought it up was just I was kind of like, you're going against ad blockers. You're going to war with ad blockers, and then the item or the tool that you're going to be like, instead of ad block, here, have this amazing tool that we offered you for $12 a month. Oh, wait, never mind. We're going to offer it to you now for $14 a month because fuck you.
And we're not going to tell anybody.
And we're not going
This
to tell
was-
anybody.
This was this was a sneaky little move on their part too.
Oh, they also increased the music premium, went up $1. So it went from 10 to 11.
Nice.
So
Yeah, and it's not a lot of companies have been doing this too. I just heard on a side note that Netflix in the EU also sneakily got rid of their lowest tier paid no ad tier mode or whatever. And
Oh,
am I just
Stuff is lagging.
I mean, we get this. You're dead, like staring me in the face. It's kind of sexy. I don't know. I'm not getting a little turned on, but it's it's the most serious look. Like, every single one of our live viewers are like, "What the fuck, man? Why is he so?"
This
pissed?"
is why you gotta come live, guys.
Oh my god! I think Scruffy's gone. I think we
Lord.
just lost him,
I
which
think
means
Scruffy's
Yeah.
I think which means that everybody's about to move. I think Bill's about to go to Scruffy's spot. Enigma's about to go to Bill's spot. I'll stay the
Can
same.
you hear me?
Yeah, we
yes,
can
we can
now.
hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me? He's like, please hear me, man. Dude.
That's funny.
Anyways, I don't even know what I was talking about.
You were talking about the EU.
Yeah, Netflix. They also are doing the same thing. They got rid of their lowest tier, no ad, whatever payment model, and they got rid of that, and then increased the all their other tiers or whatever in the EU. So it's all these companies are doing the same thing, and they're not telling anybody about it either. It's ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah. So while you're I'm sorry, I completely zoned out about the back half of what you're talking about, because the only thing that I could think about was the fact that, please, one of our viewers, take that moment where Scruffy got frozen in time and make it into a meme, and I personally will send you
What
50
did I
bucks.
look?
If I can
Hold on,
get
I
the
gotta
best,
see.
like the best
You look
meme
pretty weird.
and get it into our Discord, I will personally PayPal you 50 bucks. Like, I just want a meme contest with Scruffy and just his like dead
Wait, is it what
stare.
I'm just looking like?
Yo, straight up, it
No,
was
it
just
was
a
more-
dead stare.
I
It
didn't even
was,
hold the face.
it was such a, yes, like kind of
Yeah,
like that,
pretty
except it was
much,
a little
yeah.
bit,
I see it right
you had a
now. I
little bit
see
more
it.
smolder to it, like a little bit more like
God.
sexiness kind of
How
to
did
it.
it?
Oh my god, it was
That's
so
my,
perfect.
My Riz face.
It was so perfect. Oh man.
Oh,
Anyway,
dude. I'm
yeah,
back. Hello.
yeah.
There. I'm here.
yeah. So
My AI froze. Sorry, guys. It's just,
no shocker that these
Yeah.
companies are going to be upping the price, you know, and Netflix has been doing this for years, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really surprise me at all.
yeah.
There is no Kick news. I mean, except for, you know, the fact that they had merch drop. Like, if you're gonna go buy, it's overpriced merch. Like, it's like a $60 for a fucking hat or hoodie and $30 for a hat.
Nobody buys Twitch's merch. I can't imagine people are
I,
buying.
I've bought
Kick's
Twitch's
merch.
merch.
I
I've bought
have-
You're
some-
a whale,
I have-
Sin. You
I
are
have
a
one.
Oh my
whale, sir.
fucking God.
I have one Twitch shirt.
So do I. Actually,
Yeah.
I have one Twitch shirt as
Why
well.
did
yeah.
you? Oh God.
I don't.
I mean,
Actually,
you
their stuff
probably,
is not that
I would
bad.
have bought it. I would have bought it
This
when it
is-
was cool. Now
Yeah, I
it's
was-
just too late.
That's what I was about to say. I
Yeah.
bought that shirt like 2013,
I-
2014.
That's fair. But nobody's buying that shit now, so I can't
I
imagine.
doubt it. Yeah.
Well,
Other
the,
than
whales, the whales, yeah, the whales are gonna keep
Oh
buying.
my God!
you
I
know?
bought a fucking zip up, man. That it was a white zip
Well, I
up.
wasn't even
Jesus
talking
Christ.
about you. I was just talking about in general.
just figured
but
now whenever you
can
talk
group
about
yourself
whales-
into it.
Dude, every time, even like watching Discovery Channel, I'll walk like my wife will be watching something on whales, and I'm like, what the fuck? What? No, it's not me.
Your wife is
So-
like, "Hey, did you see that whale? I'm not a whale. What are you talking about? I didn't spend $500."
She didn't even say anything. She's just like, I didn't.
Stop making fun of me. If you are unfamiliar with why we started off the podcast by saying "gang gang," yes, ice cream's so good.
I didn't.
God.
didn't start off
You
the
did. You
podcast
said
like
no,
that.
no, that's yours.
no.
I didn't.
Is because there is a ungodly trend that, you know, we do. Bill said it, like Pinky Doll Real is, I think, her name, or Pinky Doll
Yeah.
is
Is
her
that her
name.
name?
Yeah, that's her online
Oh,
Handle.
profile. But she started this trend, I guess, or I don't know if she started it, but she definitely,
She
She was
I
a
think she
big
did.
pioneer.
She
Her
definitely
and
pioneered it.
Cherry Crush.
like
Bill
they,
knows them all. It's just,
I just know those
he's been
two.
doing his
He's been doing his
research.
research, man. Yeah.
man.
they started or pioneered this trend or have made it popular. She has definitely pushed it beyond the limits and has now it's basically this NPC style of streaming. I don't know. It's done on TikTok and Instagram, right? I think is where it's done.
Mostly
not mistaken.
TikTok. Yeah, I mean probably Instagram too now.
But I don't know. Let me see if I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to hear this. I think you will because I'd be able to have it.
Good.
Yeah.
Coconut so good. Coconut so good. Balloon.
This is
Grab.
Cannot hear it.
yeah. I know you
Coconut
guys
so
can't, but
good.
chat
Okay.
can.
Grab.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that is the the trend, and it has wildly become successful with other content creators. Like a bunch of content creators who basically latched onto this. She is in the Washington
get it,
Post.
man.
She's in the New York Times. She's in a Timberland album like song now. Like
Oh my god.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I've even seen some of the big like Twitch and Kick streamers like
Yeah.
Kai Senate or
Yeah, Kai
whatever,
Cenat,
and I show Speed. They both started doing it, bro. I mean,
I don't understand. it, man.
I am going to say this, and I want to say it once. What's her name? Pinky
Pinky
Doll.
Doll. Yeah.
I will actually give her credit that she is good at acting like an NPC. She actually sells it. I mean, Sin, you said yourself you weren't even sure if she was real.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Right. So she actually does good. It's everybody that's come after her. Oh, it's so cringy, man. You could tell the difference of like who is good at acting like an NPC and who is just leeching onto this trend.
Her original one was cringy,
tough.
bro. What are you talking about?
They are cringy, man. But you gotta at least maybe you. I think she's actually good at acting like an NPC. She sells it, man. Like I'm not gonna even lie.
It's like that. This is like that chick. I think she's on TikTok that walks around like a NPC.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
I've seen her too. Yeah, dude. Like it's actually kind of impressive now. Like don't get me wrong, the trend is cringe in and of itself, but she actually has a talent for something that she just randomly found. I guess, man. But
Yeah.
what's really crazy is you know how much people are making off of this trend
No,
off of like
she
one
said
live.
$7,000 a day.
$7,000 off of one live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that is ridiculous. And I think even Kai made like $6,000 off of one as well. Like,
Yeah.
but of course he's got a big following, but still, like this trend is just because all it is relying off people is doing these donations and they react to the donations.
Yeah, it's literally degeneracy at its finest. Like if you're
It
talking
is.
about like the most like I need instant gratification, instant notification, instant whatever, this is it. Like this I'm not knocking her and what she's doing. I'm knocking the viewers as like this is the lowest in my opinion form of, you know, or one of the lowest. Let's say not the lowest, but one of the lowest forms of like engagement in my opinion from a viewer standpoint. Like for her,
Yeah.
good on it, man. Like do what you got to do.
That's
like
what I'm saying,
make your
man.
money, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not knocking you for that, but
She
like
is collecting bags.
the
man.
fact that people are literally willing to throw money at this to get that type of engagement, it really is crazy. It's sad. It's nuts to me. I don't know. It's wild,
it's almost
wild.
like NPCs feeding an NPC.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. But anyway, so I'm sure that you're going to see more and more of that. So just be on the lookout, or don't be on the lookout. I don't know, whatever you want, for
Gang,
it.
gang.
So gang.
I also hate that it's gang, gang when it's a GG sign. It's good
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Good, well, good
Gang,
gang doesn't
gang.
sound as good as good gang, gang.
Yeah, I know. It does. Oh, wow, you do that good.
Yo, bro, you gotta be able to roll that tongue. Anyway,
Yeah.
so streaming platform news is all done. We're wrapped up. So now we move on to what games we have been playing, and I actually have brought 2 new games. Well, not new, but newer. One is new. One is kind of new. It's still really popular. Bill hates me for playing it. At least this one, or not hates me for playing it, but hates the game, or doesn't hate. He just doesn't. He's not a fan of the game. But if you're wondering what I am talking about, we are talking about Only Up. So I purchased this game before it got taken down from
Oh, it's
Steam.
only down.
Only down.
Wait, this game got taken down from Steam.
It got taken down from Steam
It
because of
did.
stolen
Yeah,
assets.
for a minute.
Yeah, for stolen
Oh,
assets.
that I could see that. Dude, this game
Is it-
literally
isn't it
is
back
an
up?
asset.
Yeah, it's back
I'm
up.
pretty sure
Yeah,
it's back up.
they took
Yeah,
out the
they probably
assets, so,
replaced. Yeah,
they-
but
they
yeah, this
replaced
game
the
is
assets.
literally just one big asset junkyard.
Yeah, essentially. But
Yeah.
it is, you know, if you're unfamiliar with what this is, it's basically it's supposed to be like Getting Over It or Pogo Jump. Any
Jump
of those
King.
games, yeah, Jump King. Any of those
Yeah.
games where you're basically the objective is to not fall, to keep getting higher and higher and not fall.
With very big detriments. If you fall, it is nearly a restart or a fresh wipe, pretty
Yeah.
much.
And there's hidden, like, so in this there's hidden secrets, and there's like, you know, you can find beds that'll launch you upward and things like that. You know, there's people that speed run this and get it done in like 12 minutes, which is even more nutty.
That's
pretty
crazy,
crazy.
man.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that they can do. Bill, what is your sentiment about Only Up? What do you feel?
Oh, these rage games are. I understand the popularity of them from a viewer perspective. They're streamer bait games, and that's going to
Definitely.
make them innately popular. This one is just it's NFT shilling at its finest. But I mean, I guess the game's fun to watch, and it's fun to watch people rage. So they're low effort, high profit games, kind of like NFTs.
NFT shilling, you just mean because the developers are an NFT based company?
Yeah.
Because they don't do necessarily anything whatsoever with NFTs in
they're
this actual
from
game,
so,
do they?
so the developer is Goblin Town, which is behind the Goblin Town NFT project. So
Yeah, it's so there's nothing inside the game that like you purchase NFTs, you're purchasing.
no,
anything new.
there's
It's just-
nothing
Yeah.
NFT based in
Okay.
the game, but there are
Yeah.
advertisements for Goblin Town NFTs.
Right.
Like
I hope. By the way,
within-
I don't. It's just. I just want to put it out there. I guess a big ass thunderstorm has just rolled through. I really hope I don't lose power. But
boy.
in the case that this happens and I do lose power, I just want to let everybody know that that's what's happening.
Don't worry, I'll probably lose internet before you again.
But anyway, yeah. So I mean, the game, like, you know, I did not like getting over it. That was not my style of game. I really did not enjoy
getting over
that.
was just
I liked
annoying
it,
because
I
it made
just
my hand
suck.
hurt.
Yeah. I didn't like I don't know, there was something about the way that it functioned and moved that I did not like it. This though, what I'll say is, and maybe this is more of a question for you. Do you think like because do you think that the element of being controlling really shitty is like a very key element in these games, or is it something where because that's the only thing about this where I'm just like it doesn't handled terribly, but it definitely is just like when you're moving straight, your character's constantly pulling to the left, you know. And I get that
Yeah.
like that's part of the difficulty, and they have it like that. But do you think that they could
Is that
make
just?
a good one?
I was about to say, is that like due to like physics or is that
I
just
don't
like
know.
a
Almost like it's the
innate-
camera angle or something. Like it's like off. It's like off.
Well, it doesn't even if
it
you
is
go
off
in,
center,
like,
yeah.
it doesn't even
Yeah.
if you go into first person mode though. Like
there's a first person in this.
yeah, there's a
Never
first
even
person
seen somebody
mode.
use that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the shittiness definitely plays a factor in it, especially like to your downfall and your benefit. I feel like almost the shittiness of like some of the grapples, like you can kind of abuse it as well. Like
Oh,
the,
absolutely.
The,
I mean-
the mantles or whatever.
You can see it right here.
Um,
So right here is where I'm talking about. Like you can see me having to like overcorrect because it continuously
Yeah.
just keeps pulling me to the left. All
I
right.
think that's because your camera
I've
is off
tried.
center, so
because of
you're
the
almost
camera, yeah.
looking. You're almost not looking at like dead center for what you should be.
There's
you
first
know.
What
person
it
mode.
appears to be. Yeah.
That's first person mode, by the way. It's it but
Oh God,
yeah.
I'm just waiting
it's-
for this game in VR.
yeah,
yeah,
sure.
that
I mean,
would be
it,
terrifying.
it is a
They-
you know it
They've had games like that though in VR already.
They
It-
have. Yeah.
you know it's like the other side of it too is like the game will just cuck you for no reason because you have like I did really well on this run. Like I made it all the way up, and then you know one of my viewers or Stevens, one you know our loyal there you go. There's another like you just fall off the fucking back of the thing and just but like I did really well, but then on my second run of it, I was in the same exact spot and it just decided to launch me off the side of the fucking map. So like I don't know, like there's an element to it that's like kind of you know not randomized, I guess, but it's still just kind of jank in a certain thing. And again, you know, so it but
I was about to say, I'm curious if that's less of a like a on purpose thing, or if that's more of a they just didn't put a lot of effort into like
I think they
developing the
just didn't
game.
put a lot of effort into it, and they
Right.
said, you know, people are. It's a rage game. You know, they're gonna get mad. It don't matter if it works perfectly because that's just gonna.
Well, given
know,
given the fact that they
add
got
more to
removed
it.
off of Steam for having base
Yeah.
assets that they didn't pay for, that just tells me that
I mean,
Again,
they literally just
they put the
slapped assets.
yeah they
anywhere
put the
could.
bare minimum effort into developing the game
one of
yeah.
the things
just to
I-
make a quick buck.
I will say it is the dialogue that's in this game. Like I basically I got to a point where I just turned it off because it is very like some bitch. It is very depressing. Like it literally like you come up to this like the base of it is that you start off in a favela and you know you're in poverty and you're working your way up to the stars. And but this right here, this elephant's like you should go back and you know get back to poverty where you belong, and you don't need to like be up here. And like then it talks about like how your grandfather has like worked all his entire life
Jesus.
in this like factory
The
and
fuck was that?
never what
You just like phased through that railing.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, that's just part of the game, man.
yeah, but like it's extremely
They really
depressing
took
too.
the
That's-
Bennett Foddy and
Yeah.
just to the extreme because Bennett Foddy had some like didn't they also have some dialogue and whatnot that was kind of like I
Was
don't
that
know
getting
in a way
over
I
it?
think theirs was a bit more reassuring.
Was
And
that
they
was that
almost
getting
did-
over it?
Getting over it,
That
yeah.
did
Benefati's
Benefati, yeah.
getting, every
Yeah,
time you would fall, he would like console
getting
you.
over
and, like,
its getting over its dialogue was more of like
like a
supportive,
therapist.
yeah, like therapy
honestly,
or something like
yeah.
that. Because like you had a lot of like inspirational quotes, you had a lot of like therapeutic quotes and everything like that. So if it's literally just like, get the fuck out of here, you're poor,
Yeah.
what are you doing here?
He
Yeah.
just took it to the
No, I mean
Just-
that's that's what it is. Until you get
Just
to like the
the
higher
cheapest
level,
fucking
and they
it's
start rooting for you.
yeah, it's fucking terrible. Like it's just literally this like I don't like. It's like go back to the favelas where you belong because you don't deserve to be up here. It's like holy shit,
Wow.
man! Like what the fuck? Like
yeah,
know.
that to me just sounds more like poor dialogue choices and or again like we've
Oh, it's
already said
yeah,
like
I don't know.
like
I
bare
think
minimum
they-
bare minimum bare minimum work going into like scripting and everything like that.
for sure.
I think they're just doing it just to make you.
It's
rage
just to make
more.
a quick buck.
Well, like I said,
yeah.
I just turn it off. Like I turn it off and don't listen to it because it really like
Oh,
after I got to a dog that told me that I'm only gonna live and die in poverty and I'm never gonna be successful in anything I ever do.
Holy
I'm like,
fuck.
what the shit is wrong with you? I'm like,
Wow.
I'm like, dude, I don't want to play this game and get out of it depressed. So I'm just like, nah, I'm good. So yeah. Anyway,
Watched I watched a buddy of ours, Hey Tony, he was playing it at one point, and apparently they have like handicap things that like slow down time and shit.
yeah,
in
yeah.
it.
so
They do. It's like
Yeah.
a power you can use.
It's a fall. So when you fall, you can slow down time by 30% and move into a certain direction by a certain distance. And then that's and whatever else. So it can benefit you and hurt you at the same time. Because you can overcorrect and all this other kind of stuff. So
This polling to the left is really weird. Like that to me is a very strange.
it's honestly very like aggravating to be. I mean,
It's
again,
it's very
disappointing.
apparent
It
too.
looks
Like
like it,
how they let it go like that. I'm assuming that it was an on purpose decision to do that, but if it
Yeah, I
wasn't,
guess, I don't know.
I don't know how you didn't catch that in like testing.
Because
if
I don't
you
think.
did
Well, I
testing.
doubt they tested the game. The game is $4.99. Like you know,
Yeah.
Wasn't
is
it $10 before? Did they drop price?
no, it was always $5.
It was always. Oh,
Yeah.
never
I mean,
mind.
again, if you are a fan of these style of games, $5. I don't know. It's up to you whether you want to get reward, a developer that's kind of like this, for these types of things. Because I'm not fluent in what this genre of game, so I don't know if it's
Yeah.
supposed to be just really shitty.
It is.
You know.
It
Yeah.
is.
not,
You got debated.
So yeah.
I
well-
mean, some of them are actually are crafted. Like
Jump King is really
crafted.
good. Yeah,
Exactly.
Jump
It's-
King
it's
is
very
amazing.
Well crafted. It's a beautiful game.
Honestly, getting over it is really amazing as well. If you
Yeah.
actually like put the work into it, it is
I-
a very like motivating and captivating game. Like it is a very well developed game for.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that getting over it was only like $5 or $6 as well. if I remember
Bennett
correctly.
Foddy, the Getting Over It developer, is making another one. You guys
Is he?
remember the game QWOP? Do you know any
Yeah.
about QWOP?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know QWOP.
It,
yeah.
it was like an old browser game where you would control a dude, and all you had to do was walk across like this like marathon like track, and all your keys were QWOP, and it was like to control each of his limbs and legs.
Oh, I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah. So he's
Yes.
making a game very much like that, and
I'm sure that will be as
to
aggravating
yeah.
as as getting over it.
It
more than
almost
likely.
looks like it's on like a 3D plane too, so that's gonna be.
I mean, the
tough.
game. What I will
Wow.
say is the game it's fun. It is what it is. But again, it's more fun because you're tense and your chat's tense.
Well, like Bill said too. Yeah, it was Bill said it the best. Is like it's very much an influencer game. It baits out
it was
chat
it was
interactions,
built. Yeah.
especially on TikTok. A bunch of people go out TikTok live, and they use it like donate a galaxy and I'll jump, or like donate this big amount of money and I'll jump all the way down, and people do it.
Wow.
Because of course they do.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
We need to go. We need to become TikTok streamers. So
Right.
Maybe, man.
anyway, but yeah. So getting over it. That was one of the ones I
Nope,
played.
not getting
Nope.
over
Oh
it.
no,
Not
no,
getting over it.
no, whatever. Only up, only down, getting
Only
over it.
up.
All
There
the
you go.
same shit.
No,
the-
they're not.
the other game that I played, and actually myself, Enigma, and well, Scruffy tried to play it.
I don't think
Um,
I was about to say.
I did play a little bit.
Is Exo Primal. Oh, fuck, I thought I got past the loading screen. God dang it! Hold on.
No, you never get past a loading
Dude,
screen.
well, I'm gonna leave it here so you guys can understand. This
Yeah.
is one of the downfalls to this game is that the loading screen takes forever when you're getting into a match.
does.
Like,
Yeah.
and then
loading into the game.
every single time you have to listen to this dude talk about the simulation that you're going to every single time you go into a match.
Wait, it's
which
all
is-
simulation. You're not actually fighting dinosaurs.
No, yeah, it's well, so the PvPvE mode is a war game, so it's a simulation of it. I don't know. I've not played just the PvE version if it actually is.
The PVE version, I think, is like you going in because you've got like alpha T-Rexes and everything like that. Like so far, I don't think we've run into like anything like that in the PvE version.
No.
So
But essentially, so this game is on Game Pass. That's where I recommend that you highly play this game. It's not bad. Like I want to make sure that
Another Game Pass classic.
yeah, I want to make sure that I say that they put it out there that the game has some
it's
flaws,
good.
but it's
I
fun.
enjoy it, man.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
You
I-
can't
I
play it
find
because
it
you're
good.
internet.
I did play it. Okay, I'm not like
I
speaking
find
on my
it-
first experience, but I'm not. I don't know. I can't say the game's good.
I personally find it enjoyable. I thought it was like, and this is coming from when I first heard about this game, right? When they did their closed beta or whatever, their open beta, this game gave me like really bad red flags. Like it looked exactly like Anthem. I was really like off put by that for the simple fact that again, Anthem is horrendous. Never fucking play Anthem. I don't even think it's going anymore. I'm pretty sure that
don't
they've
think
shut
it
it
can.
down.
I think it's been gone for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's been shut down. But do not play Anthem, please. Do not play Anthem. But yeah, when they first released this, I was like, nah, this looks too much like Anthem. I'm not touching it with a 10-foot fucking pole, right? Like going in with it being on Game Pass, that gave me the security of being like, okay, well, if I don't like this, I already have Game Pass, right? Like there's no reason to not try it. When going into it, I will agree with you that like don't buy this game for $60 or for
God,
40.
no.
I think it's
Outrageous.
$49.99 if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. It's like $50.
They
Do not buy this for $50. Like get it on Game Pass if you have the ability to. Not only for the fact that I don't really feel that it's worth $60, right? It's at best, I would say it's a $20-$25 game, right?
Yeah, when I went into it, I was thinking I was actually gonna like it. I went into some like expectations after seeing Simply. I'm like, you know what? I
Do
actually
these
might get into this
T-Rexes
game.
have clothes on, or these raptors have clothes on?
No.
Maybe
No.
armor.
Think so?
I don't think
No,
so.
They don't have any. There's no.
That one looked like it
clothes.
had a little like.
They
got
fur.
That might have been a summon if you saw like a collar on it.
Yeah.
That's a summon. You
Okay.
have like a PvP event that you can summon Carnosauruses or whatever they have on
At
them.
first, though,
But-
I'm like, I thought this game could maybe go for 40, but at this point, like, yeah, like you said, like,
Nah, it's
20,
like 20,
like-
25 at most.
yeah, I don't know.
So I want
But
to give.
really quickly, just to finish off my thought process, right? That not only would I not buy it simply because it's $50 and I don't think it's worth $50, but on top of that, I found out literally just the other day. I was talking to a buddy of ours that Crow Templar. He loves this game. He's been playing it since closed beta, right? I found out that this game has a like you can play with other people on Xbox, crossplay, yeah, crossplay and cross platform. You can play with people on Xbox,
Yeah.
PC, and Steam, right? The only caveat to that is if you're on Xbox and Game Pass, if you're on PC and Game Pass, or if you're on Game Pass in general and Xbox, you can play together, you can group up together. If you buy it on Steam, you can't group up with people that are on Game Pass
On
or
Game
Xbox.
Pass. Yeah,
So
Why the fuck would you?
you
why?
can
that's
still play
so
with
weird,
them.
man.
They're like you'll still see them in the world and you'll still see them in your matchmaking, but you can't group up with them, which makes no fucking sense considering the fact that you still have to make a Capcom account to play it on
So
Steam.
wait, so you can play with them. You just can't group.
You
with
can
them.
play with them, you just can't group with them. So
That's
if you
fucking
have
stupid.
somebody
So
that
weird.
purchased it on Steam and you have somebody that's playing it on Game Pass, you can play with each other if you're lucky enough to get in the same lobby with each other. But
No,
you
that's
can't
how
group
that's how
with each other.
Rocket League used to be. Except
Can
back
you,
then, that was like crossplay was brand new back then.
Yeah.
Nowadays, everything is like crossplay.
Can
I don't know.
the PlayStation player base play with the
PlayStation
Xbox
player base,
Is
I
the
believe can,
console
yes.
console are fine,
It's-
but it's just the
yeah.
PC.
Oh no,
people
there
that
there
are-
isn't a PlayStation. This isn't on PlayStation, is it?
It is
I
on
don't know.
PlayStation.
I didn't think it was. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
would assume as such because I'm pretty sure that it said that any of the consoles can play with each other.
Yeah,
and,
it's
and
on
the PC.
PS4
I
and
mean,
PS5.
that sucks
Yeah.
though, because like that a huge their player base is huge on the Xbox Game Pass, and that just
Yeah.
alienates
It's-
anybody
it's
who got it
crazy,
on
dude.
Steam.
Well, and it,
Well, I
it
mean, you still
alienates
play with
it,
it.
it
Not
alienates
everybody, but-
myself. It alienates myself mostly because I wanted to play the game specifically because Crow had it, and I
Yeah.
was kind of excited to play with the Crow.
Well, He
Right?
can't. I heard he can't play with like anybody because all of his friends got it on Game Pass.
Everybody got it on Game Pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, someone needs to tell Crow stop. Why would he buy the
Well,
fucking
no,
game?
he didn't buy it. He got.
Oh, got
I'm
gifted.
pretty sure
gave
you
him a
got
key.
it
Oh.
They gave
for a
him a
key,
key.
yeah, for covering it.
He's
but-
got his plugs.
Well, so I want to give some context as to what this game is because we went straight into like the game, you know, and worth value, whatever. So it's a 5v5 PvE and PvE mode. The thing that I was kind of deterred about was because I thought that the PvP mode was going to be a more engaged, like you are actually going to fight the other team and you're just gonna have to deal with these kind of dinosaurs. That's not what this is. So you have
No.
5 mechs, you have it's kind of think of like take like Overwatch like classes with tank, support, and DPS, mix it in with EDF or Earth Defense Force if you remember that game. And add an element of kind of Destiny's Gambit style all together, and that's what it is. You have, and the cool things that you can do, like you pick a mech at the very beginning and you level up your exosuit, and you can switch the exosuit mid game. So like if we're
That's
in the middle of a match,
that was one of the ones that impressed me, was just being able to, like, most of these games, like obviously I'm pretty sure you can switch in mid game in like in Overwatch, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things I was really impressed about in
They
general.
had
Was
roles
like if
though. In
they did
Overwatch,
have
it was
roles. Well, they have
in
roles here
this,
as well.
But you can switch to any different role in this.
Right.
Yes, you can.
Correct.
Yeah.
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 But
it wasn't
those roles didn't come in until recently, right? Like before the
been a while
tank
now.
switch. Yeah.
But
honestly. It's been a few years, but yeah.
the other side of it is that you have like, so they have an element of like the hero shooter kind of thing where you have your classes. You also can like, you level up your mech. You can add these mods in where they'll give you different things like specific to like your person, like a sniper can get extra damage, or you can get stuff that's like, hey, I regenerate health a little bit faster. That's generic. You can level those up. The one thing I do not like is that they don't give you the ability to actually like change out weapons. I understand why, but like I would like the ability to be able to say like, oh, I want to put a different type of sniper on this person. Like you're locked into that. The other thing too that you have is like you have these ultis, but personally, because of the way that the game is set up, like you'll basically all go through this entire first wave of missions, and then you get to the final mission, and that's where you'll engage the enemy. They'll either get what's called a dominator, which allows them to summon a big dinosaur over to your side to try to stop you from
Bless you.
thank you, to try to stop you from completing your objective. Or you'll engage with them directly in a certain type of map, but you save your ultis basically for that moment. Like there's
For the
really
last
not
bit,
a
for
point,
the PvP.
to do it. But what I'll say is the game does have, like, right now you're seeing us fight a Triceratops. As you progress through the game, you get to face, like, we had like an Ankylosaurus, we had like a T-Rex, there were raptors, there were Carnosaurs, the one guys that like spit, or whatever else like we had never seen. They add all these different dinosaurs, which was really dope. Again, the game is fun to play. Like it's not enjoyable.
Honestly, I was talking to Sin about it. Like this game is the first game that I've actually enjoyed the PvP on in a long time. Like I'm usually not a person that likes to play PvP games,
But
just because
there's only like 10% PvP in this game.
It's very true.
Yeah.
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 Which is one of the things I wish I'd like for them to add is a mode that is a little bit more PvP focused. I don't want it to just be all PvP.
Originally the game was all PvP. That like the original version of the game in the closed beta, if I remember correctly, was complete. There wasn't any PvE. Yeah, Crow was talking to me about it, and he was saying that he was glad that they added in the PvP or the PvE Because
I mean,
prior to that,
I don't
there was
mind
no
like
option.
this mode to me is this one that we're playing here, which is like a secure and capture 3 points, is in my opinion one of the
was fun.
like more fun modes because
Yeah.
you get to engage the enemy a little bit more. There's one where where you're each pushing a payload to a center point. That one is a little bit less like fun because you're just kind of like, all right, well, I'm sitting here and
You
basically
don't actually engage until
Right.
like the very end.
right. So you're not really seeing it, the enemy that much. So, but I would like to see them add a mode that is more PvP focused, but has still the dinosaur element into it, or at least make this mode where you have you engage the enemy on a more consistent basis. Like you're not just waiting to get to the final mission and that's where you engage the enemy. But I don't know. The game is fun. It is like I have to say
I had a
it
lot
is
of
a
fun
fun
with it.
game. Yeah, it's an enjoyable time. I don't again.
think-
It is not $60.
The only complaint that I have is that I feel like they released with not enough not enough classes. But then again, I asked you about it the other day, and I was like, what? How many classes or characters did Overwatch originally release with? And I think
It
you
was
said like
12.
12.
Yeah, it's 12
Yeah,
characters.
which is two more than what this game released with. So I mean, the only thing that I can say is like, yeah, that would be my biggest complaint is like add in more characters to give a little bit more variety. And then like I actually do agree with you, Sin, in saying that like if you're gonna add in a PvP game like mode, like actually add in a PvP mode. Like this version right here, I actually had fun with these, just like you did with the point capture.
Yeah.
But it's very boring for the most part.
I was gonna
the
say,
other one.
and I'll ask this instead. Do you guys think that this game is gonna have any longevity? Because personally, I just
I mean,
I don't think there is gonna be.
the issue that I see
That's
is like I think
Just no.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. I mean, I
know.
don't want to say no. Like they have
don't
a
know.
pretty decent
Yeah.
roadmap. Like they've
With
already
it-
like
with
announced
it being
it.
on Game Pass as well,
longevity
like-
that is not just a battle pass with challenges.
Has there been a live service game that has actually thrived on Game Pass so far, though?
other than
Uh,
Fortnite?
Couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Fortnite's
I'd
not on
have to
Game
go back
Pass.
and look.
Oh, you said. Oh yeah, Game Pass now.
I don't.
Because
I
that's
don't.
my biggest issue with it is the fact that it's an always online thing. It's one of those live service games, and those have been traditionally not well received and have not. They haven't had much longevity. They've been like the most successful one we've seen recently. Not something like this, but like Multiverses came out. It had a live service model, and it's now dead. We haven't seen one last more than a couple years at max recently.
Well,
So,
even just to
It-
say
it-
that.
it-
So
it's the
there.
same
I
red
mean-
flag that we're having from like Suicide Squad coming out soon. That
Well, I mean, I'll counter that. Like, I don't really think that live services are ever really designed to last for more than a couple of years. Like, there's a certain point at which, and granted, there are live service games out there that do it, like Destiny and everything like that, right? But like these kinds of games, I don't really think that their game plan is to be a dominant force in the gaming industry for 7 to 10 years. Like, I'm pretty sure that this game, if they
I
can
just, to be honest, I don't even see it lasting for 2 to.
Oh, that's
3
what I was
years.
about to say.
I don't know.
If this game, I think that if they can get 2 to 3 years in it, that's a successful run, in my opinion.
That's even pushing it for my thoughts here.
I don't
know.
Oh.
Second, you guys need to brush on your dinosaur knowledge. You call that thing a triceratops. That is not a triceratops. That's a Zuniceratops. Okay. So
Ooh.
Well, it
it's got
says
two horns, not
Triceratops.
3.
It says Triceratops whenever.
Oh,
you're
then
fucking-
Capcom messed up
Yeah,
and
I
they
was
feel
gonna say,
bad.
I'm not a diniophile here or whatever the fuck.
I
it is.
actually think that's a Carnosaurus. Honestly, if I'm not mistaken, that's a Carno.
No, not that one.
I-
The one before that we have.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
the-
for that, yeah.
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 I just think that they're gonna rely so heavily on the look and the flashiness of this game. They already
yeah.
have put way more effort into
I think-
the flashiness and all the aesthetics and everything than the
I
actual
also-
gameplay itself.
I also think that they're relying entirely too heavily on classes being very similar to
Overwatch.
Overwatch classes, because each of
Yeah.
these classes, there's a Roadhog, or not a Roadhog, there's a Reinhardt. There's
I'm not
the
even
one
mad
that-
about that because literally
that Sin's
every
playing,
game-
which is the
every game
sniper.
does it now. It's not even. I mean, I'm mad that every game does it, but like in this case, like I don't care. That's not what I'm looking at. It's just like they put so much effort into it. Was exactly like we said, like veiled experts and veiled
Yeah.
experts.
No, for sure.
That they're just playing so
don't know.
heavily, and in the end, I just think that this game is just going to be
I'm enjoying it.
a
That's what-
cosmetic farm and microtransactions. I don't
For
think
sure.
there's anything that's going to go past that. Like it just doesn't have that in it, in my
For sure.
opinion.
No, I do have to tend to agree with you that, and only time will tell. Like I said, if they can push out more frames or whatever they call them, more of the robots. I forget what they call them. And they
Exos.
can push them out exos. If they can push out exos on a regular basis and they're decent, the game might last. Like obviously, I think it's going to be a very niche player base, but if they can continue to pump out if they can continue to pump out content, if they can continue to pump out PvE content, as well as PvP content, they could go into raids, everything like that. If they can do that, again, they might have a 2-3 year 2-3 years of content if they can push it. But whether it's whether it's built to be a game that can last for 10 years, no, not even close. Like obviously, like there's no way,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you'll get a year. I think you'll get some time.
I think
out
you'll
of it.
definitely get a year. I would say at least 2. Just simply because again, it's Game Pass. You'll have a very
They have
dedicated
to,
Game Pass player base.
I was gonna say, and they probably signed some sort of contract. They probably have to go at least like
It's
a year or
it's
two.
crazy to me that Capcom signed or that Capcom has a game on
Well, they-
Game
Yeah.
Pass. That's crazy to me.
Again, they're also using this as a marketing platform because they have a lot of cross marketing. Like there's a Monster Hunter
True, they do, yes.
crossover that's happening. There's a fucking Street Fighter 6 crossover that's happening with this.
They got like a football thing going
Yeah.
on right now.
Yeah, they're kind of like using this as like a platform to promote their other games. So,
but that's
sure.
Capcom. Honestly, like that's Capcom.
Capcom has
is
that-
king.
Yeah, they have that universe.
Yeah, but I mean,
type
hey,
thing.
like if that, like honestly, it's an easy way for them to pump
It's
out
huge,
characters.
yeah.
You know, like if I get to have, like this could be. You think about Fortnite, right? Like Fortnite has become successful because we've got like these things that are
The multiverse shit.
yeah, the multiverse where like, oh,
you got
Master
Travis
Chief
Scott.
is fucking, shooting up whatever. Yeah, like Travis Scott and Master Chief's in there with
Yeah.
Kratos and all this other kind of crazy shit. So, hey, like if I can have Ryu dragon punching a fucking, what would you say it was? Not a triceratops, a Xenoterasops, whatever fucking
Yeah.
it is, like whatever. Like, yeah, dude, I'm down. Like, if I can have a Monster Hunter character in there, like, sure, like, just dump DMC in there, dump whatever Capcom, fucking, whatever you got, man. I'm down for it. I
Oh,
think, sure.
Devil May
Two-
Cry.
two-
My mind meant to DMCA. I'm like, what?
Two last things that I wanted to bring up with this before we move on. One, we were talking about longevity of the game. I pulled up the Steam charts of it, and I know Steam charts is a very small section of this
I was
game's
gonna-
player
yeah.
base.
Especially
for this, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's already lost 50% of the Steam chart player base. It peaked
Yeah.
at 4.5K. It's sitting
What's-
around
But what
2.5.
I think a
what
lot
that
of
really
that's-
does say though is people. Well, there's two things: is people bought the game and it's like, this is not a $60 game, refund, and then people bought the game and was like, oh wait, the game's on Game Pass. Let me just go over there.
Not only that, but people also bought the game to play with their friends that bought it on or
And
that play it on
that-
Game Pass. And
I
I think that's the biggest thing right
I
there.
don't know.
Yeah, that makes
obviously, yeah, 100%. I would not doubt that a lot of people
And
did
this
not
kind of ties in with
mesh well with it.
the Metacritic user scores right now, all sitting in like the 4.5s range.
Oh, I'll get to Metacritic. Don't worry. I'm gonna get on Metacritic here soon. That shit's I'm about to blow their spot up.
But I mean, it's another avenue to kind of gauge reception, like audience
For sure.
reception. And on every single platform, Xbox, PC, PlayStation, it's all sitting around the same spot.
Yep.
Do you think that kind of a user reception can be turned around and be a success make?
I mean,
I mean, you've got games like No Man's Sky that have turned around their shit with hard work, obviously.
Yeah, but
Whether
then you
they
also
put in
have
that hard work or
games-
not.
You also have games that have totally flopped that
For
were
sure,
on
yeah.
a good slate, like the Cycle. That game was
For
going
sure.
decent and then just shut
I
down.
mean, well, I mean, even in shutdowns, like they just shut down Gunfire Reborn, I think, or Gunfire or something or whatever else. Like that game got shut down.
That game got shut down.
Yeah,
didn't even know that.
It was
sure?
it was in the news.
The,
I'm pretty sure it's
the
Gunfire
roguelike?
Reborn.
The roguelike.
no, not Gunfire, Gundam Reborn. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Or
that's-
Gundam
yeah.
Evolution. Gundam Evolution.
Evolution.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Get your shit right,
Yeah.
Sin.
Sorry, someone in
Jeez,
chat said
Sin.
Gunfire
How dare
or
you.
Gunfire Reborn. So I went there. Anyway, Gundam Evolution, you got shut down. I mean, yes, you see these games shut down, right? They're expensive to run. If they don't make enough money, like they're not gonna keep it going. I think this game will be sustainable in its own right for a while. Will it, is it gonna have a massive, like, is it gonna be the next thing? No. Is it gonna be,
No.
can it survive? I think Capcom will keep it alive on like life support for a little while, to do its thing and whatever else, or maybe they put a bunch of money into it. I have no idea. But like I said, I mean, I know that their roadmap they already had out there was pretty big, and I think that if they have a user base of 5,000 people, 6,000 people playing it, they're going to look at it and go, cool, we're good. Like,
It's a success.
yeah, it's a success. So
Fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on to the news section of everything. Right off the bat, we're talking about the exodus of physical games. I know this is a hurtful subject for our boy Bill. I know Bill is.
Yeah, man.
It's sad. I think it's sad too, man. I mean,
No, it's goddamn detrimental to the entire industry. It's not just sad. This is actually like the potential like downfall starting point of the industry. I feel like it's that big of a deal.
Well, it is. It's not hit
might
the
be,
U.S.
I
yet.
don't know.
It is hit the UK. So big. Basically, the person that they're talking about, the retailer they're talking about, is Tesco. It's a major UK retailer. Basically announced that they are stopping, or they're going to soon stop selling physical copies. They have not stopped yet, but they're soon going to stop it. To give you a reference point of it, the article noted that Call of Duty, which I guess now Call of Duty is the
Call of
fucking
Duty is
like
a buzzword.
yeah, it's the litmus test that we're gonna have for all this stuff.
yeah.
The main presentation point.
Yeah, is saw a 50% drop in physical sales comparable year over year. So you're talking, as
Yeah.
far as back as 2016, they've been seeing this drop, which is
Well,
understandable.
you've got to look at it in retrospective, like ease of access. Like I understand where you're coming from, Bill, where it's like, yes, physical copies, like that's your bread and butter, right? Like if you have a physical copy, you can never have that taken away from you, obviously, right?
Right.
So I don't agree with you in stating that it's the downfall of the entire gaming economy, though. Like the
No,
physical
not the
copy
gaming
of
economy.
games.
It's the downfall of the gaming industry in a way where this is just going to be a launching point where we're never going to be able to own our video games again.
That's what I was about. I would agree that it's the downfall of the consumer's choice, essentially, right? When it comes down to gaming, like obviously if they no longer have the ability to purchase physical copies of something, that's a terrible thing. And I do agree with you. But the industry has been going digital for years. I don't think that I have purchased a physical copy of a game since 2012.
I don't know. I don't know. when
2011. The last
That's about to change
physical
now
game.
that you own a Switch.
The last, well, that is very true. I so far have not. I so far have not
consoles
purchased
back in that day, anyways. Like, but
I
before that-
so far have not purchased a game on Switch that hasn't been digital though. So, like they do
Yeah.
offer that, but I think the last physical game that I purchased was probably Skyrim. Maybe. So
That makes sense.
it's- that has
Everybody's
been
got
a-
a disc of Skyrim
that,
somewhere.
that has been a
Yeah.
long time. So like to say that that's the downfall of the industry, I think is a little hyperbolic in my opinion, but I do agree with you in stating that that is the downfall of like user choice for sure, 100%. And I see where you're coming from with like, if it, it's a very slippery slope when it comes down to
It's
like
a huge slippery slope.
you're not purchasing and owning anything that you have. Like my current collection on Steam, I don't technically own any of those games. If Steam closes down tomorrow, my entire fucking like 500 game collection is gone. Right? So I
Dandy.
understand.
Weren't we just talking about how nowadays discs are almost essentially just a key also
They are,
to
yeah.
games?
Yeah.
So
Depends on the developer, depends on the game.
Yeah.
Most
it would actually
games
cost.
that are on disc are the actual 1.0 version of the game. Most.
I personally,
Gotcha.
I don't have anything to back this up, obviously, but I would personally say that it costs more to put things on discs these days than not.
Oh,
Well, yeah, it does.
Well, yeah,
That's
it
came
obviously
out.
is. There's
There was a
the
talk about
production
that too.
cost of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, the bigger one of the other things to kind of keep in mind with this is that right now I think it's called the Internet Library, I think is the name of the website. I need to go back and check, but they're actually in a pretty big lawsuit right now with basically with the terms being around like, hey, like we are trying to take these old games and these games and digitize them for
Yeah.
record keeping
To preserve 'em,
because
yeah.
right to preserve it because one like NES games and stuff like that, like they can't be around forever, like and as games get moved to a digital format and non-physical, for record keeping purposes we have to have digital. And
That's
the
what I like
art
about GOG. GOG that's owned by
CD Projekt Red.
yeah, CD Projekt Red. Is that like they're also trying to do that with games. They're trying to make games available to people that are too old to be, still being sold on copies of physical copies. They're also trying to get rid of DRM because they don't feel like that's worthy of being in they don't think that this should be like those old games shouldn't have DRM at this point, right? But
Right.
I do agree with that. Like these some of those old games are getting to a
Game
point where,
preservation
like,
is extremely important.
yeah, exactly. And,
That's
and
that's
I think
where
that's a very good thing to
digitization
do.
is a nice thing.
Well,
I would
yeah.
say.
if they allow it though, that's the problem. Is that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying is that you've got like companies like this, like again, I really I think it is the Internet Library, but
Is it a
this-
certain developer that's
it's an organization. It's a bunch of them. I mean,
that
Nintendo.
are it's certain developers that are going against the Internet Library
Yeah,
to say we
yeah.
don't want our game on there.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Is Nintendo one of them?
Yes, Nintendo is one.
Probably, yeah.
I don't doubt it.
I
Yeah.
don't doubt that.
But I mean, this was is technically in Quick Hit, but like we actually saw this with like Ubisoft recently, right? Where
Yeah.
the Assassin's Creed, a bunch of their games, you lost
The
access to
servers
play
were
them,
shutting down.
right? Like
Yeah.
they just basically said,
Not-
yeah, fuck it,
Not only well you on some of them you didn't lose access to playing them, but you lost access to like your access to their DLC. Like, so some of them you lost access to on like the online modes, which that's what they're bringing back. But you lost actual access to your DLC that you purchased because they stopped offering that. Like, if you didn't download it, there was no other way to download it.
Yeah, and they took it off the
after they
market.
stopped. Yeah.
Right. and we see that on like
We-
there's games on Steam that are like that. Like I can't like
We
I purchased
actually,
games on Steam and I can't download them.
We actually saw that from Sony as well recently with their PSP stuff. Remember when they started
Mhm.
did they ever
Yeah.
did they ever go back on that or no? Did we ever look into that?
I don't know. I haven't.
I
looked
do
into
not
it.
know.
And I mean,
I'll have
but
to look into it.
everybody does it, right? Xbox, like they've all done it, right? Like every single platform has gone about doing this. So yes, I mean it is. I think that if we're gonna, if I think I don't like legislation being involved in a lot of this stuff, right? But I do think that there should be some type of legislation that if we are going to move to a fully digital world, that there should be something in place that says, hey, this is still art. This is considered art and it needs to be preserved. Just like we have the Library of Congress, we have, the Smithsonian, you have all of these things that preserve all this stuff. This needs to be preserved as well somewhere in a digital database, right? That we are able to access and see it, right?
I think there needs to be some just overall changes to digital ownership when it comes to games as well. Because if we had the ability to physically like own and not just pull from a server games on a digital basis, I would not have
a
an issue.
license, like own a
Yeah,
license.
I would not have an issue with
So
physical
you wanna-
disappearing. I
so you
would
wanna-
like to be able
you
to
want to own
pull.
an NFT?
NFTs could be an answer. They could. That could be a good use for it.
You want to own the
You know what?
blockchain?
not the worst. Yeah.
But for real,
Yeah.
if consumer ownership is important, and I think the
Yeah.
FTC should be looking into stuff like this as opposed to what they've been
100%.
pushing.
Taxpayer money could have been put to much better use than battling against Microsoft for an entire year. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it scares me. Physical
Yeah,
ownership is the
just-
only way to 100% own most of your games, and
Just
if,
sorry, go ahead.
if it fades, then I don't know. It'll leave a massive sour taste in my mouth when it comes to gaming, and I might actually like stop.
It sucks that
It's
they're
that point. I'm that passionate about
yeah that
gaming in
they're
general.
totally stopping and halting sales on physical games, like, because I feel like easily instead they could just have it to be physical copies would be on order instead of mass distribution.
Yeah.
You know,
So
I don't see why that isn't a choice. Like,
to
they don't have to keep pumping out physical copies left and right and wasting money on the copies that aren't being sold, but just have them on order. Like, I don't
so
know.
to update on the PSP situation, apparently yes, Sony did go back on it. They went back and said it turns out that you'll still be able to buy PSP games through Sony Store after all, even after their July 2nd, 2020.
There was a big upright on that. I'm not
Holy
shocked. They
shit.
probably
I am honestly shocked that I remember that. That was in 2021.
wow, yeah.
So yeah.
But
Well, I agree. Yeah, 100%.
We talked about the FTC and the government getting involved, and they're fighting Microsoft. Something else that is going on in the Xbox news is Xbox Live Gold is being discontinued and is being replaced with Xbox
Another end of the era.
Game Pass Core. Yeah, which is actually interesting because we talking about digital ownership. So if you guys don't remember, there was a person that got the first million gamer score on or gamer score on Live. He was given it to by Major Nelson. Which by the way, Major Nelson is officially retiring and moving on from Game Pass.
Godspeed, sir.
Yeah,
I don't think he's retiring. I think he's just moving away from Xbox.
Well, he's retiring from Microsoft there and whatever else. So, again, Godspeed. Yes, if you're over the age of Scruffy, then you know who Major Nelson is.
I didn't know who he was. I didn't follow any Xbox.
Oh god!
But
wasn't Mustees.
They gave him
it's bad. It's bad when we're using Scruffy as like an age progression.
Yeah, it's a measuring stick. But he got this person got a lifetime subscription to Xbox Live Gold. That is now gone away.
That's not cool. What?
The biggest thing for me, the like a big win for Microsoft would be to be like, okay, well, to honor that, we're gonna now give you a lifetime subscription to Xbox Live Game Pass or whatever. Yeah. Like, to me, that I feel like that's the right way to go. But
I mean, I think he got like 15 years or some odd.
Yes, I mean,
so. And maybe
he deserves it, man. He's the first one to get to it.
Maybe they're going to change that, but I or give it back to him. But I haven't seen anything come up about it.
I haven't seen anything either. Him.
But Xbox Game Pass Core, essentially, will show. I'll bring this up so you guys can see it, and it's obviously not going to show properly. So cool. So I will have to go to the tweet. Give me a second. I'll bring this down so you guys can see it here while I pull up the tweet. But
we're talking about how like the console, like the Xbox, is getting like scammed or something with the Ultimate deal.
No, it's
no,
actually
they're getting a better deal with the Ultimate deal.
It's actually a better deal for everybody.
The console deals where they're getting kind of scammed.
That's what I said.
No, the console's
no, you said
console's
Ultimate.
even a better deal either, or is even a better deal.
Oh, I thought that was the same thing. The console is different than the Ultimate.
Console doesn't have the online play. That's the only problem with the console version. So
yeah.
As far as we've seen, I haven't seen this necessarily like disproven. So I'm pretty sure that at this point, this was like 3 days ago that they posted this. I'm pretty sure that within 3 days, if that was an error, they would have
corrected it.
Yeah,
well, I think so. I thought that they were saying that the core mode, you get the online game, you get the online multiplayer.
Core you get online, console you do not.
I thought that they said that you get console version as well, or you get core with console. You get core.
I haven't seen anything about that.
I could have sworn that was. You guys can go ahead and look. I'm going to look this up because I'm pretty sure that they came out and said that you get core with console.
Yeah.
So can
I
you
haven't
even
personally seen anything with that.
buy the Ultimate on PC anymore? Because that was a choice. I don't know. But there would be no benefit to buying the Ultimate other than
the only benefit would be if you had an Xbox console. So you would get both PC and the console.
So if you're on PC and only PC, you don't want
just
to
buy the
$9.99. Just buy the PC.
Just buy the PC version.
Yeah.
So that gives you all the Game Pass titles, new Game Pass on day one, member deals, and EA Play membership. The Ultimate essentially just gave you online console play, including all of whatever PC had. So the only reason why you would buy Ultimate is if you had both a console, an Xbox 360, or an Xbox, and a PC, and you wanted to play on both, right? So it's the same. It's the same as Core. The only reason why you buy Ultimate is if you had the Xbox, but you also had a PC that you wanted to play with. They're both the same price. PC and Core are both the same price. The only difference between PC and
Ultimate
Core is
the
that
only
I
one you get
don't.
cloud too. It looks like.
Is it
Just reading
Nice.
this now. Yeah.
The only
don't
difference
know, yeah.
between Core and PC that I've seen is that Core doesn't get the full Xbox Game Pass. Core gets
They
a
only get
catalog
a-
of 25 games
Exactly.
at the start.
Yeah. They
Now
don't get
that's not
new
to say
releases.
that that's not to say that they're not going to. They've already said that they're going to be adding in more games in the Core as time goes on.
Well,
They're not going to
it's-
be adding more. They're
sounds
going to be
like
rotating them.
They're going to rotate. Yeah, they're not
Are
going
they
to go above
rotating? Okay.
25, I believe.
Okay, so I have found this out. All right, so with console, so with Core you get online multiplayer. That is the $9.99. That's a $10 version. The $11
$10 one.
version for console is access to Game Pass catalog of games, new games day one, deals and discounts, but you do not get access to online multiplayer. So
Online
you are
multiplayer,
correct.
yeah.
That why would they make that more expensive?
I don't know, man. I'm not really sure. Other than
you
the
get the
fact
full-
that it's not
'cause you get
limited
the
to
full Game Pass
25.
database.
So yeah, it's if you either want to play online, you go Core. If you want to play and have a full catalog of single player games but not have online, you go console. And if you want both, you go
Ultimate.
You go Ultimate, yeah.
And just so we're clear, Ultimate is a better deal than what it was to have
It
Xbox
is,
Live
yeah.
Gold and console Game Pass.
Because I
back in
think
the
that
day.
I think
It
that
was
like
$19.99 for the two of them. Now
Yeah.
it's $16.99 for Ultimate, which gives you both of them. So
and you
go.
get
Better
access
deal.
to EA Play, which is also nice. I mean, if you want
Yeah,
to play
very
EA
true.
games,
Yeah.
so
Sure.
So,
yeah.
there's
it's
a Game
it's a
Pass
good
for
move.
everybody.
It is a good move. I think
And
that
they can tote that their Game Pass numbers spiked tremendously because
That's very
everybody
true.
who wants to play online
to
has
play
to
it.
have
They
Game
have
Pass
to.
now.
Yeah, I mean at this point,
has to
Yeah.
have it. Yep.
It was the whole
They're
reason that Sony tied
forcing
their
inflation
online
on Game Pass, dude. Or
Yeah, it's the whole
inflated
reason
numbers.
that Sony kind of did it in reverse. PlayStation Plus was always the online accessibility, but then they added their subscription model to the PlayStation Plus so that they could have tote that. Oh yeah, PlayStation Plus subscription services launched. We had this many people tied to the service. Yeah, because half of those were already there from live.
For
so.
sure. Yeah. But like honestly, when looking at it, like me and Bill were kind of going back and forth trying to figure it out when he posted it, and I'm like, it's so convoluted in some cases, man. Like now that I understand it and now that I looked at it,
makes sense,
it's
right.
simple to me now. But like trying to figure wrap my head around why
We spent
they
like
had
20 minutes.
yeah,
trying.
why they had Core and why they had console, why they didn't just make Core and console one thing. But then I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So
well, I
it
think the
took us like
pricing-
20 minutes to figure it out. Like
to me the pricing is off though. Like I think it should be reversed in my opinion. Like I think that the
It's
console
a
version
dollar.
Right, well, what
It's
I'm
a
I know,
dollar.
but what I'm saying, I'm just saying from a consumer perspective, if I'm looking at it saying, okay, hold on, like what is more important, right? Online play or access to all these titles? Yes, access to all these titles is super important, but if I can't play online, like, So to me, the console should
What
be
are you
$9.99.
even?
Well,
$9.99.
what if it was the
You
same
value
price?
an online connection more than having the entire Game Pass database, single player games included?
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
don't know.
Here's the
I mean,
reason
I
why.
guess that's just the kind of
but
gamer
no,
you are. But
well,
holy
no,
crap,
what I'm saying
your
is
priorities are way different than mine. But
I'm not a single right, but what I'm saying, if I guarantee that if you look at you take gaming as a whole, and we were to be able to get a line graph, pie chart, whatever you want to call it, of what people are playing the most of. Is it online games or is it single player games? I'm telling you right now, or even let's not do online versus single. Let's just say you take Xbox Game Pass and you go, hey, or Xbox players and go, what are you playing more of? The games on Xbox Game Pass, or are you playing more on online? And I guarantee that you're going to find that more players are playing online games, and even the games that are on here that have single player aspects, like Halo, like for Forza or whatever, they're going to be playing more online. I don't even think I'm crazy.
your
but
mind is skewed, my guy.
I promise you, but I think that you're sadly mistaken to think that the that the single player aspect of games is way higher.
You're starting to sound
than-
like EA, my
I
guy.
don't know, man. I just zoned out on that entire thing, though. Sin, why
So
don't you
did
just
I,
wail for
honestly,
all of them?
yeah.
Like just like
Just
Yeah,
buy
sure.
everything.
yeah.
Christ.
You got 4 walls. You can
guys
have
are-
one for Blizzard. You can have one for PlayStation. You can have one for Xbox and one for whatever.
You guys are poking me. I'm about to skip over these last couple topics to get to what I want to talk about. Moving
I would like to
on.
see that information though, because I
I do too. I would too. If it
I'm gonna do
exists.
some research. I'll bring it to the next cast if I
I don't
can.
know, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would be interested to see that as well because I do know that for surprisingly there are a lot more people, or at least
The
if I remember
online
there's
play.
a lot of people that play like single player games, especially. On,
I'm
like,
not saying
PlayStation.
that there's not. I'm saying I'm only talking about game. Like let's take Game
I feel
Pass,
like
right?
online gamers are just the vocal minority. They're just loud and obnoxious because they're always yelling at each other.
Well, that's what it is. They want
Whereas
everything
single
for their
player
game.
Players are just like sitting there and
They're in
quiet.
their own land, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been playing
Bullshit.
Skyrim for the past 7 years.
Bullshit. Go look at the Metacritic reviews of Final Fantasy 16 and getting bombed. I'm not saying that those are not true, but don't tell me that the single player
man.
community are not fucking
Final
vocal.
Fantasy fans are another beast.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm just saying
that was
if,
part of the not my Final Fantasy movement.
if we're
Yeah.
gonna lump this all in the same, I'm just saying.
I
You
know.
it is what it is. But anyway, Xbox also teased out that Elden Ring is coming to Game Pass. Bill,
That's
you're
exciting.
you're our
Huge
Elden
move.
Ring fan.
Yeah, no, that's great. More people getting into Elden Ring. That's really
need to
cool,
play it.
and
Yeah.
it couldn't have come at a better time. There's going to be a DLC coming out soon, so this is going to give people an easy access to that. Now, I don't know how Game Pass works with DLCs or anything like that. It only is base game, correct? And if you
Correct.
want to play like the DLC, so this is
You
a
have to
way for
purchase
people
it.
to get their hooks into Elden Ring and then be like, oh shit, I love this. I want to get the DLC. They would need to then buy the base game and DLC on top of it. Correct?
I think they could just buy the base game. You can buy content for the game as long as you have, because you still have access to the full game. So I think you could just buy the DLC, but you'd have to buy it through obviously Xbox. Like you'd have to
Xbox,
see
yeah.
their system to do.
I mean,
it.
So-
that's fine. Xbox gamers like Elden Ring too. I'm just curious that if you stop your subscription to Game Pass, are you going? Is it just going to be
You
a
would-
dead
you would not
DLC
have
in your
access to it,
inventory?
yeah.
It
Yeah.
would just be frozen.
I don't know why they would let you. Okay, that's
it's
weird. I don't
weird.
know why they would let you buy a
It's
DLC
weird.
from a subscription model, but it's fine.
Mm.
But
It's just an option, I guess.
the
Yeah.
biggest thing that we have with this is like this person, what was her name again? Sarah Bond, I think is her name. Yeah, Sarah Bond, vice president of Xbox. She's done these tweets a couple of different times for titles like Ravenlock, Stardew Valley, and Psychonauts 2. So it's pretty much confirmed. Like this is I'm pretty sure this is coming to Xbox.
Who
100%.
is this, Sarah? Are they a
She's
data miner?
vice president of Xbox?
Oh,
I mean,
so-
yeah, she's data mining in the fact that she owns the fucking.
She's-
You know, she's
I-
one of the
I-
fucking
she's-
owners.
she's going down to the data and going, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
she's just leaking everything, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So
Well, in other news too, that was not leaked. Blizzard's Overwatch 2 is in a steep decline. And that is not coming
For
as
a
a
while, it's
shocker
been for a while.
no
It's
no
a-
one is
it's a-
surprised.
yeah.
to anybody. This report's
A
coming from
Blizzard IP not doing well. Shock.
Dextaro. Man, you guys are
You're
okay.
poking
I got
him,
one more. I got
man.
one more.
Bill, you're
fuck, this is
poking-
it.
No,
I
he's
just
not.
gotta-
He's just storytelling. He's foreshadowing.
Just gotta get through one more, and then I can unleash.
Oh
Um,
god.
But so yes, Overwatch 2, shocker, is not doing well. It admitted that basically Overwatch 2's engagement and player investment has declined substantially in Q2 2023. And it has I don't think it's really actually ever risen. You know, it had its launch, and then from there it just has kind of stayed pretty flat all the way through. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, with that, they have now launched the game onto, it's coming to Steam. August 10th, Overwatch 2 is going to Steam. This is pretty big news. I mean, I think, you know, the announcement, I don't know, Scruffy, why are you shaking your head? Like, I don't get what is not big
Bill.
about this. Oh, Bill.
Nothing.
Bill's not
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
man.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it, man.
I'm listening. I can multitask. I'm
But-
looking for breaking news.
Okay.
Yeah, he's looking for big news. Anyways, Overwatch
Stay on track,
2 has
people.
been in a decline ever since
Refocus.
they announced that their PvE mode that they were just scrapping.
They've been on decline before that. That was,
Even before
yeah,
that, dude.
I know,
Like,
but
just
that
just
really
them
just like nailed the coffin, man. Like
just them announcing Overwatch 2, I think, put them on the decline. Like nobody wanted this. Like nobody wanted Overwatch 2. Like they were on the decline even before Overwatch 2 released. But like that sent them into a pretty decent nosedive. But the only reason why I brought like the whole it coming up to Steam, and we were having a conversation about this last night, Scruff, when I posted it, was like, to me this feels like, and granted it might be too early, and it probably is too early. It's probably me just looking into this a little bit too far. Is like, this to me screams Microsoft pushing Blizzard games out, right? They're trying to get the Activision deals fully pushed forward. Obviously, we know that the Activision deal is going on. I think that they just barely put a pause on it.
No, they just extended it. They extended
it, yeah, to give them a little bit more time to work with the CMA and such. But I'm pretty sure it's like 99.999% done.
Yeah.
Like it's a given, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's to the point that Microsoft has
I don't think
any
Microsoft
sway inside of Blizzard as of yet.
Kind of stuff. And I think if they did, it would have been mentioned because that's good PR. Like more games everywhere. That's like their whole fucking slogan. If Microsoft had a hand in this, you would think they would be toting it.
My biggest thing is just like, if they don't have ownership of it, like them showing their hand that they have some form of like steering of the ship would be bad business in the current mindset of like they're going against the FTC, they're going against the CMA, everything like that. So like,
I mean, that's true, but we also can't just like fair weather assume that Microsoft is like puppet master behind the scenes.
Again, I'm saying that right off the bat. Like I'm pretty sure this has nothing to do with Microsoft, but if it does, it kind of makes sense with them pushing for these games to be accessible to anybody. I mean, right? No matter where you're at.
I think what you can say though is that these are that people talk, right? People get tips. There's a communication line that obviously happens between the heads of Xbox and Microsoft and the heads over at Activision. Yes, this problem that I don't think that this was Microsoft's doing and they were pulling strings, but I guarantee that like when it was like, hey, like what do you think? Like what do we do? Like, getting advice, stuff like that. Like I for sure think that people, within Microsoft or somebody is doing it. Like this is not a Blizzard move. Blizzard would Activision would fucking never pull
Blizzard
away
and
from
the old Activision would never fucking do this.
So again, I don't think that Microsoft pulled the string and was like put the gun to their head, but I think that they definitely were just giving advice of being like, you should move this over here.
The only way that I could see it being that Blizzard and Activision are like trying to push this forward is, again, from what we just talked about, where they're admitting that Overwatch is failing. Overwatch would be a perfect game to have on Steam for free. Steam's a huge proponent of free games. Like obviously they have one of the most massive player, user bases in the gaming ecosystem pretty much right now. So having that amount of people exposed to your game for free is going to be a huge boost to Overwatch 2. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, so, all right. Whew, yeah, this is, I wanted 30 minutes, baby. That's it. I'm going to get 30.
That's the show.
30.
Thanks,
no, it's not. The fuck it is.
I've got more to say about Overwatch 2, actually. I just want to keep talking about Overwatch 2 for a little bit. Is that okay?
I'll mute you and kick you. You don't have to say anything. All right. So, okay. I've been stretching. Right?
You guys see me moving. He's like, oh, I'm going. And
like, I'm ready. It's silent. Because I just want to make sure that I give everybody, like, I'm getting my thoughts like together on this. So, if you're new to the podcast or whatever else, myself, Enigma, and Bill all have been playing Diablo 4, and for the most part, I would say, we are enjoying it, or we're, I don't know, fans, we like it, whatever. Obviously, yes, I am a fan of the fucking game.
He's a shill. You're not a fan.
Go ahead, get it out now. You can call me a shill, whatever wall you want.
Look at that Diablo 4 wall.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna get a little tattoo right on my ass. Anyway, so the new season 1 dropped today. I want to ask this. So I know that Enigma, you have played this.
I played it. Yeah,
You played the
I've
season
played
1.
it. I've
So-
played up
You-
until
you were able to get in?
26. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it, no problem. So
I did
whale
hear they were
privileges.
having queue issues. But I'm pretty sure that was just earlier in the day. It's ironed out.
It's fleshed out, huh?
Obviously, it's Blizzard. They're always gonna have queue issues. Like they can never have a fucking release that doesn't have queue issues. It's just it's
Right.
normal.
Well,
It's
I mean,
natural.
I didn't have any issues, but yes, I think that
Yeah.
people are
when
having
I
issues,
when
yeah.
I logged in this afternoon, I had no issues. I had no
Yeah.
queue. So
I also played preseason when the patch dropped, which a lot of these things came into place. So I was playing my Necro. I did some time on
So did I.
my Barbarian. Good. I'm glad. Bill, have you played any of the new, like, did you play over the last 2 days?
I have not. No.
All right. I personally think
I do have some interesting. I'm excited to play my Necro specifically. That's about the only thing I'm excited.
Are you gonna
to
make a
play
season
right
character?
now.
tamper your excitement a little bit because it's gonna be bad.
shut up. No, it's not. You're fucking crazy. Okay. I think that all of the fucking reeing that's
temper,
happening,
I'm
all of
sorry.
the people that are going ballistic on this patch, which yes, I understand is basically majority of all of the fucking people that are playing the goddamn game. And maybe that's just because I'm stupid. I don't know, but I am telling you, I do not like. I read through
He's
the patch notes.
admitted
I
it.
went through everything, and I'm
admitted it.
telling you
You
right now
said
that I
it.
don't think that
You
this is
said it.
fucking bad. I just think that everybody is overreacting. And let me give you my points, and then you guys can go in and give me your points, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. So the thing about everybody, what most people are
I'll tell you why the whale that supports Blizzard no matter what. You're
while
wrong. How
most
dare you.
people are fucking going off is the big idea that they brought down and they nerfed classes. They brought things down from doing untillion amounts of damage, like the druid, who, yes, the game has only been out a month. Why should you be doing that amount of damage? That's
So wait.
ridiculous. It needs to be curtailed. Hey, wait a minute. I said I was going to explain my reasoning, then you can explain your
know.
reasoning.
I'm aware, but I need to also be able to address some of these situations while you're bringing them up, right?
Trying to scroll through.
So-
the phone. Yeah, go ahead.
So let's address that, right? The umptillionth, the people that are doing an umptillionth amount of fucking damage, the billions of amounts of damage, it's literally the top 0.0001% of the player base. The people that are spending hours upon hours upon hours grinding the game, and it's literally their job. That's where they're fucking nerfing you at. Is
What is it
the
that's
top
allowing them-
0.001%. It's just
What
them
is it?
them
Is it just
having
theory
enough time.
crafting and
Yeah,
putting
no, it's-
combos together and whatnot.
No, it's literally just them having the amount of time that they have in a day to grind out the best gear, right? Like that's literally it. That's it.
I mean, I understand.
Go
but
ahead.
Give me any game out there that does not ever cater to the top 1%. Like there's
Just because other games do it doesn't mean
I'm
it's
not saying it,
good.
but what I'm saying is that any live service game in that sense is always
Caters
going
to
to be
the
catered.
whales.
It's not. They're not a whale. They're
It
1%.
caters
they're
to
a
the
meter.
wallet.
How's that catering
It
to a
caters to
wallet?
the people that are going to buy and like invest money directly into their game, and those people that sink the most time in are most likely to also
How-
pay out money towards the game.
How does Diablo 4 have any aspect of
I don't
like
know.
getting
I
out
wouldn't
money?
say-
There's no
I don't-
money.
I
don't
wouldn't
know,
necessarily
man.
agree there. I wouldn't necessarily agree there when it comes down to the only thing that I would agree there with is like they've made it harder for people to play the game, like not harder, but like they've made it so that you have to spend more time playing the game, and the more time that you play the game, the more invested in the game you are, the easier it is to basically
I-
convince those people to pay
I
money
would
for
also
cosmetics.
say that those hardcore gamers aren't necessarily the ones that are dishing out amounts of money on money. I feel like
You don't have to spend
they're
any.
the
You
more
buy the game and you're done.
dedicated
Like
player base,
if we're
yeah.
talking about Diablo 4, you buy the game and you're done. Like now, if you're
I
talking
wouldn't
about
say
other
they
games,
are the whales.
if you're talking about other games, yes,
They're not the Sims. Yeah.
Bill. I think
Yeah.
that you are correct that other games that have a pay to win mechanic absolutely do
like
cater
Diablo
to that.
Immortal. If it was
Right.
Diablo Immortal,
For
yeah.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't even need to be a pay to win mechanic. It's just people that are going to pay into cosmetic shops and stuff like that. And your most invested players are also going to be your most you're most likely to pay
I
for
wouldn't say-
for
I
alternate
don't agree
things.
with that.
Proven. I don't think there's any facts to
Because generally when it comes to like cosmetics, generally the people that are going to be purchasing your cosmetics are going to be actually your casuals that don't
Yeah.
necessarily care about the end game, but they want their character to look nice, right?
That's
Yeah,
what
I mean, I can
was
tell you,
in,
I
yeah.
guarantee that I've spent more money on this game than a majority of the top 1% has.
Well,
sure.
at least you admit it.
No,
At
I'm
least
not, I
you
mean,
admit-
yeah. I mean, I'm not going to shy away from it. But what I'm saying is that so you brought up the point of like getting the gear and giving a reason to continue on playing the game, right? In the previous meta of what the game was and the way that the game was set up, I was able to get literally best in slot gear for my Necro by the time I was like, I think 62. And I had a piece of gear that I would never fucking change because it had the best, one of the best rolls, one of the best things. The resistances were good on it. Armor was perfect. Like, why? I don't need to change anymore. So for the next 40 levels, it doesn't matter what piece of gear, unless I get an ultra rare, unique, that I'm going to change that out of.
But
like them changing and making the game, making drops harder. I'm just saying making the drops harder.
That's what happened though. Like that the ability or the pieces of equipment that they're getting that are allowing them to make these like billions and billions of damage each are the hardest to get pieces of equipment.
Right. But that's not
as they should be. But
right. And I have no issues with that. But people are
I'm not disagreeing with that. Yeah.
About the game being now more difficult, the game being brought in balance. It should. I don't have an issue with that. I don't think that the game. There's no reason why the game should be D3. Like in my aspect, like D3 was one of the worst Diablos that have come out aside from Diablo Immortal.
In your opinion,
I just said that. I'm saying that in my opinion. Like I think that D3 was a very arcadey, spammy. Like I'm just gonna get super fucking big, super fucking quick, do all these stupid numbers, and and there's no fun, there's no challenge, there's no reason for me to continue playing the game. I want something that is gonna feel more MMO, and that's where I think that a big portion of the Diablo fans are fucking losing their shit. Because they're used to, I want to be able to blow shit up with stupid amounts of numbers, and I want to be able to feel like ultra crazy powerful. And the vision, and I've said this from day one, the vision of this game is not that. The vision of this game is more along the lines of a Diablo 2 or a kind of like a Lost Ark, where you have like it's a scaled back experience. This is not for your, I'm going to come in, blow all this shit up and then get out. Like that's just not how the game functions. And all of the vulnerabilities that they nerfed, all of the crits that they brought down, I don't think are a bad thing, because as a Necromancer player, guess what? I was forced into pulling things that did vulnerability, because if I didn't, I was at a disadvantage. Like I had to have Corpse Tendril somewhere. I needed to make sure I needed to have or if I'm not doing Corpse Tendril, then I got to do Bone Prism, or I have to do like one of the Bone Spear builds, because I need to be able to have vulnerability to do damage. By them saying, hey, we're nerfing vulnerability, but we're going to buff all of your other, like if you look at the balances that they did to every single character got an increase in damage. Every single one across the board. There was not one that did not get an increase in damage. So they brought vulnerability down.
Everybody got a decrease in damage. Everybody got at least a 30 to 50% decrease in damage.
If you look at, but what I'm saying, if you look at their balance updates here, and I'm not going to scroll down and try to find it because it's too crazy to go. But go to this link and look at it. You
don't even need to look that far into those to see the damage nerfs. Like you really don't. It's like literally right up at the top someplace.
It's not. It's right down here. I mean, yes. Now I'm going to go scroll and try to find this, but it's right here. So look, you have vulnerability duration increase, damage bonus per stack increase. This is Barbarian, right? I'm not going to run through every single one of them, right? Reduction is now capped to 3 targets, maximum of 9 seconds cooldown reduction. Fury gained increased. Enhanced death blows damage bonus increased. Like you're getting.
So again, you're looking at classes. You're not looking at the general. You're looking at class based, but you're not looking at the 50 to 30% global reduce in damage everywhere.
Right.
So yeah,
I didn't say that. I said the classes are the ones that got a
15. They got a 15% bonus to damage, but they also got a fucking 30% nerf to their damage.
Right, but to me, and to me, playing it, I don't see an issue where they say, "Hey, we're gonna bring damage down, We're going to buff each individual class to give them certain things to make them more viable. And we're at the same time, like, again, by leaving.
That's the problem. They haven't given the classes anything to make them more viable. They've taken away everything to make them more viable.
One of the classes into the ground too.
Everybody is saying that Sork is so.
Sork is gone. Like Sork's build quality and build amount is gone.
And that's the class I'm playing specifically because of that. Because I disagree. Like, I don't think that there's anything that shows on here that makes it so that Sork is not a viable, class.
To me, this sounds like they're preparing for season 1 and trying to add like longevity to the game, making
instead
it
of adding more content, they're making it slower to get through the current content.
The only problem with that,
exactly what I was going to say.
Right. The only problem with that is that if this is the type of thing that you want to do, this is the type of thing that you do a week, maybe 2 before you release the season. They literally did this a day before they released it into season.
Yeah. And to me, they're really like, if they are going this route of like this way of adding a longevity, you know, to season 1, to the content that they have, like it's really applying for the hardcore players. The casual players, I think that's the majority that are also kind of upset about this too. Like they're not standing.
Well, the hardcore characters the hardcore players are pissed off about it too.
Yeah, I'm sure, because I mean, none of this, like, you know, all the nerfs and everything like that, but still, I mean, I don't know. It just sounds like they're amping up for season 1 and adding longevity to it instead of adding, you know, more meaningful content. Like I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's a cop out.
I'll tell you my experience. Are you done, Sin, or do you want?
I mean, I just feel the other thing I was just going to say was that the other thing that is being touted across everywhere is that like build variety has gone out the window, and I don't understand. I don't understand that sentiment at all because of the fact of the way that they have again done things. Where I'm going to use vulnerability as a great example with the Necro or the classes. Like it doesn't. That now gives me the ability to take those 2 skills off of my skill bar and be able to play a different way. I no longer have to focus so heavily into armor, right? Which armor is still and that's not getting fixed until the end of it, like the end of the season. But I'm not going to have to, I should have to focus in on resistances. Like it's a known thing that armor is fucked in this and that the only thing that you focus in is armor. Nobody gives a shit about resistances. That doesn't make the game fun or playable. That makes most of the gear fucking useless. If so now saying, hey, that's going to go away. You need to focus in on your resistances. On top of that, to say, hey, I'm going to take vulnerability and not make it important so I can use my abilities in a different way and now not have to focus into this very one niched out build. That does offer build variety. So like, I don't understand what, like, yeah, if you want to be like the 1% meta, then yeah, you're going to be the 1%, but that exists.
You're wrong in the vulnerability argument. If you would have picked any other stat, you would have been right, maybe, but not vulnerability, because every class has access to a glyph that makes it so that you don't have to stat into vulnerability for your build directly. So every class variation has access to vulnerability without using specifically the skills that induce vulnerability.
Right, but what I'm saying is that because it was such a powerful characteristic that was what you went to. Like you had to go toward that, regardless whether it's the glyph or it's the skill. I still had to stat into vulnerability to make a build viable. Like that, to take that away, that doesn't take away from your build variety. That adds to your build variety. That gives you the ability to play other things and actually be a viable build. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I personally feel you are for sure, because you're just trading it out for one thing. So instead of going down the route of armor, now you just have to go down the route of any elemental that you're going down. Like you're shoehorned into elemental resistances at that point.
Right, but I can still build. What I'm saying is that you should have to focus on elemental resistances. Like I think the argument of resistance,
but the argument, work right either.
Yeah, I'm saying like that's still fucked. It's still fucked until the end of the season. Like we know that's not going to happen until season 2, which that's my big. That's yes,
priority.
Absolutely.
So why put in the fucking fix? If it's
I don't know. I agree with you that like that kind of stuff is stupid. I will 100% agree that say like they should have focused in on quality of life stuff. Like the fact that we don't have a fucking search bar is ridiculous.
Or
the fact that
the fact that we still
up inventory.
Yeah.
Or that's what I was about to say. Or the fact that we have gems still taking up inventory. And on top of that, one thing I'll point out, the new fucking malignant bullshit that you have to do also takes up fucking spots in your inventory. So now, not only do you have gems, now not only do you have malignant stuff, now not only do you have your equipment taking up your inventory space and your storage space in your stash, like
100%
Didn't
agree.
they add a gem pouch?
No,
They didn't
that's
add a gem
that's
pouch?
season
no,
season 2.
that's in
I
season
got
2.
pushed back to
Wait,
season 2 as well.
How does that get pushed back? That seems like such a simple.
Well, again, I don't know that. So I will agree with
What?
you that the quality of life stuff like that is absolutely asinine. The fact that I can only
So-
I'm limited to the amount of tabs I can book and buy in my stash is asinine. Like I should be able to, what? But yeah, so I agree. Quality of life
So
was not focused on at all. Go ahead.
so this is my point of view, right? And this is from me logging on yesterday onto my my necromancer, which my necromancer, granted, I'm not at 67. I believe I was at 62 or 63, if I remember correctly, the last time that I logged on, because I was bored as fuck of the game, honestly. When I logged onto it, my power level on my necromancer was physically, I could feel the fact that I was dying quicker, which as a necromancer, I was already dying pretty fucking quick. Let's be real, and that was with me being a tanky class of a blood class, right? Which that to me is crazy in and of itself, right? I was doing less damage, which is crazy to me because, like you, I had a god roll on my on my staff, right? I was taking more damage. I felt like I was moving slower. That could be wrong. I don't see anything about movement speed or anything like that. I could have just on accident swapped out something before I had left. But physically, yeah, like I shouldn't say physically, but like I did feel like I did worse on my character, that I was easily progressing through the game. And I wouldn't even say easily. I would say that I was comfortably progressing through the game. It was by no means a cakewalk, right? Going from druid to necromancer was a downgrade in most instances, which I do agree with you. Like druid did need a little bit of a nerf, right? Like their build variety was crazy when it came down to druid. Everybody else had like 2 builds. Druid had like 6, right? So obviously they needed a nerf, and most of those builds were doing an insane amount of damage and were very survivable. Let me just read off some of these things, right? So where was it? Core stat bonuses on weapons have also been overperforming, so we'll be pulling back those bonuses. Strength, 50% stronger when on weapons, reduced to 25% stronger than on weapons. Dexterity, 50% on weapons, reduced to 25. Intelligence, 50% reduced to 25. Willpower, reduced to 25, right? That's where when you walk into something and you're like, okay, let's take this out, and all of a sudden you get fucking completely obliterated. That's where that's coming from. Cooldown reduction was removed or lessened by 30%. So you can only have, I think you could have upwards of like 50% cooldown or something like
going
that.
against like the infamous builds.
It
and
was
stuff
crazy.
Like
Yeah, it was crazy. So I do agree with that. Cooldown reduction did need to be removed. I feel like they over nerfed it slightly, but that's just my opinion. I didn't personally go with the Infamous build for the Necromancer because I thought it was a little cheesy. Imbuement skill cooldown reduction was reduced to 30%. Trap skill cooldown reduction was reduced to 30%. I don't feel like any of the community really had an issue with that. Like those 2 things were not that big of a deal in my personal opinion. Critical strike damage was reduced by 17%, which is fucking huge for critical strike builds. Lightning was reduced by 17%. Critical strike damage with bone, earth, imbued, and werewolf skills were all reduced globally by 17%. And vulnerability damage, we already talked about this, was reduced by 40%. Holy fuck, that's huge. Like, that is a huge number. Critical strike damage reduced by 50%. Vulnerability damage reduced to 65. Reduced by 50%. Reduced by 65%. Damage to crowd controlled enemies decreased by 30%. Frozen enemies by 20%. I don't want to go through all of these because they're huge. But just take my word for it. Like, a lot of these were reduced by at least 30% across the board. Some of them being in the 50s to 40%, right? That is a huge nerf across the board. And granted, again, like we were talking about before, yes, they did boost people's damage on their actual classes. But to me, boosting it by 50% just to then globally reduce it by 30 to 50%, you've completely counteracted what you did to that class. in my opinion. Right?
No, you're counteract. What you're counteracting is the gear being super, like the most important, and going into your build and your
Shouldn't the
abilities.
gear be the
and-
most
But
important
but
thing?
Yeah,
the
about
gear
this
is
game?
still
I'm
the
not-
most important thing.
I mean, yes, gear is still, but it's not like, it also goes down
To-
to like your build and like how you build and like the viability
To
of your build.
physically, well, no, to physically change that, they would have to completely change the reliability on gear in this game. Like this game is not like Diablo 3, where
know.
you could
I know.
potentially have an entire build just based off of skills. This
Right, it's
game
based off of
requires you to
Paragon, right?
have everything in your gear tree.
I understand, but what I'm saying is that what they were seeing, and in my opinion, what they're seeing was that, hey, at a certain point we hit a threshold where, and we're hitting it too quick. We're hitting a threshold too quick where these items are making characters where basically carte blanche. It's just, this is the build you go with. It doesn't matter anymore after that, and because this gear is making it. Like,
We'll just point out though,
So-
it's only the top 1% of characters that they're worrying about though. Like
right, I mean, I understand
the,
what
the rest of the community has no fight. There's no issue with
but
it.
it's still it's not like it's not like they're only changing they're moving everything on a sliding scale. So if it affects the top, it affects the middle. If it affects the middle, it affects the bottom. Like, it's not like this everybody that starts or is new, or the casual players have this huge influx, and then all of a sudden they hit a wall because now you're there, and like, okay, well, this is where you're at, and if you don't get to that point, you don't matter. Like, it's still a sliding scale. So it's not like 1% is affected. Everybody's affected at the same rate.
Yeah, but
Well, we're
everybody's
not-
being affected because of 1%.
But either way, it's not like you're being affected solely because the 1% is the only thing that matters. Like, you're being affected because they
It's
saw
kind
it
of how it feels.
across
But
the
if
board.
if the top 1% doesn't matter, then why make the nerfs so huge?
Because
Like if they didn't feel like the top 1% was enough of a worry, they
Because
would not have
the-
nerfed these things
Because
by
the
30
top
to
1%
50%.
is their streamers, their content creators, their people that are going to drive enthusiasm with the game. And if they're running through content and they get bored of the game, they're going to move on to something else. And that's going to drive audiences to move on from something else. They need something to slow things down or give another reason for people to grind out new builds, since their builds that they worked on before
But
are dead.
that's
and
that's
it's
the point, though, is
wrong
that, like,
way
they've
about going.
literally-
Instead of giving them new options, they just nerfed the options that
Well,
they're
that's-
doing.
that's what I'm trying to point out though, is like, yeah, I can see if they nerfed it to where they made it easier for you to obtain some of these things, but like this game is not alt friendly anymore. It never really has been very alt friendly, and believe me, I've made enough alts to know it's not alt friendly at all. I had 10 slots filled. You only get 10 slots. I had to delete all 10 of my characters to be able to
you
play.
also made six
seasonal
fucking
today.
you should make six
I-
fucking druids.
Regardless, again, it was a terrible decision because they don't really do well with alts. Like, alts are not really a thing, and they don't really give you the ability to respec yourself very easily either. Like, it's very expensive to respec yourself. Obviously, they're adding in this like scroll of amnesia or whatever the fuck it's called,
One.
right?
A single one.
that you'll get one time, and that I guarantee you will be on the fucking
Just
cash
wait till you
shop.
buy it.
Yeah, I guarantee you that will be on the cash shop. Like, you can say it won't be, but I guarantee you it fucking will.
Also, to talk about alt friendliness, them reducing XP across the board for
Yeah.
a lot of the leveling methods and stuff is
Now-
Well, that's just
massive as
blatant
well.
longevity, and that
Now, granted, the one thing that I will say, and I did go back and play it today. I started a seasonal character today. I started a rogue. I don't feel like the changes that they implemented affect a new player coming into the game. Like, the seasonal start did not feel rough to me, at least on a rogue. Now, granted, rogues are extremely fucking powerful. They've been extremely powerful since the game released, right? Like, they've always been the highest DPS when it comes to like single target DPS, right? So that could be something that's taken into consideration, because like when it came down to like my druid and my necromancer on tier 2, it was a struggle bus to get anywhere in tier 2 for me. Even on the necro, which had the summons and everything like that to kind of bolster my survivability and everything like that, right? The rogue, while being squishy, I go through through content extremely easily. I was doing a level 50. What are the red things called? I forget what the
Helltides?
what the
Oh
what?
no, you're talking about Trio Whispers.
No, the
Helltide?
the castles or whatever they are.
The Stronghold.
The strongholds, yes. I was doing a stronghold with Crow today. Granted, he was like 26, 27, somewhere around there. I was only like 16, but I felt like I was doing extremely well. I died like twice, but I was still able to do enough damage, and I still had enough survivability on the rogue to be able to do relatively well, right? So obviously the changes that they put into place didn't completely ruin the game like everybody's saying. I will say that yes, I do believe that it was hyperbolic in stating that the entire game is ruined.
Yeah, those
for-
Metacritic scores
sure.
are wild, bro.
Yeah.
They're fucking
for
dumb,
sure.
dude. I'm
They
so
dropped so
But
hard
I
overnight.
will point out this is a complaint that I've had with this development team with Blizzard since the start, right? They over nerfed fucking Necro into the ground to a point that the Necro was unplayable essentially until they actually boosted the summons at the end of the open beta, right? Like they boosted the summons life by 30%, right? Which made the Necro feel a little bit better, but it was still trash, right? Like it still didn't feel good to me, at least, right? In my
Right.
opinion. Granted, this is coming from somebody that I'm a very big purist when it comes to Necromancer. Like this Necromancer to me does not feel like a Necromancer. I want the Diablo 2 Necromancer. Why can't you just give me the fucking Diablo 2 Necromancer?
I will say
I
one
don't
of the
understand
items.
It don't matter if they give you two; they're gonna nerf it anyways.
That is very
One
true.
of the items that they put into the game for Necromancer specifically is a item that automatically uses corpse abilities, so you can have it set up on your
That's actually kind of
raised
huge.
skeleton, so that you can, like, as soon as the corpse drops, it'll summon your skeleton to help
Okay.
keep uptime a little bit more.
That's actually kind of huge. I was not aware of that. Is that one of those super rare uniques though?
I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure which
I'm,
item.
I'm curious
I'll
if
look it
that
up
is
and-
if that is one of their new uniques and legendary aspects. Because if that is one of their new uniques, those new uniques have a 0.0 like
I know they're uber
0.001%
rares, yeah.
drop rate. Yeah, so you will like the top 0.00000000001% of the game, the player base will be the only people that will ever see those uniques. So, but yeah, to me, I kind of agree with you, Stan, in saying that like yes, I do feel like it was blown out of proportion, but on the other hand, like no, it wasn't. It was 100% warranted. I don't feel like it feels to me like Rob Ferguson and his developer group don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they're just making changes and seeing how the fuck it turns out.
I also
The
don't see what their
simplest-
priorities are.
Yeah. The simplest way to me to fix this would be to have a PTR realm, a public test realm, right? And actually give your player base the ability to play the fucking updates, let you know what they don't like, and then you have more data. That seems like the simplest way to fix it to me.
Did Diablo 3 have that?
I believe
Or
so,
no?
yes. Diablo 3 did have a PTR realm. Yes.
I don't know.
thing-
Honestly, almost all action RPGs have a PTR realm.
They do, yeah.
Because of this. Because of this.
One thing I want to say, and with it coming into like player comfort completely aside, coming into a new season with a patch like this where everybody is
Terrible
going to
idea.
come into their characters and feel like the characters that they put time into and feel noticeably weaker. Like you said, it's not as noticeable on the seasonal characters and stuff like that. Is a bad time. This is not. I don't understand the thought process on slowing the game down, making the game harder, making you die more. I understand that the game was
Well,
deemed too easy by a lot of
es-
people, and they needed to change aspects. There's other
Especially-
ways they could have done that without.
Especially coming off of a developer talk where they said we want you all to feel overpowered, right? Like that was literally something that they said on one of their fireside chats. They were like, we want everybody to feel overpowered with these malignant powers. We want you to go crazy.
But
Obviously,
hold on. To be fair, we don't know. We have no clue whatsoever
I
now.
was just going to get to that. Obviously, we don't have any actual like access to what we're going to get in those malignant power bases, right? But again, coming off of that, being like, we want you guys to feel overpowered, but then nerfing us by 30 to 50% just feels bad. It just feels terrible.
What they said was, we want you to feel powerful with these malignant gems. not we want your character to feel powerful, period. It's, hey, you want to be going after these gyms, you want to be doing this and going after this said piece of gear.
But do you not think that until you get those malignant gems, like not everybody is like us, and they're not going into the season where we can just instantly go into the seasonal content, right? We've been playing the game. There are people that haven't completed the main storyline, that haven't done the things that they need to do or that they're just barely coming into the game. They're gonna feel bad. Like this is going to be feeling.
I don't think
rough.
they're gonna notice. I don't think they're gonna know. I don't think they're gonna care.
Ignorance is bliss.
I don't even think it's necessarily ignorant. Like I look at the okay. One of the things that really makes me upset, and I've said this, and it's not even just about this. I've said this for I don't know how many times on this podcast, but it's really frustrating because the world of gaming that we live in, the gamer community that we live in, is they fucking go ape shit if they don't get what they want. They go ape shit if they do get what they want. They go ape shit if they get a little bit of what they want. They go ape shit, period. It doesn't matter what they do, what they change, what they make. They go ape shit. They have review bombed the fuck out of Final Fantasy 16, which is universally seen as a pretty successful game, right? They review bomb the fuck out of this. They've at this point, I don't give a fuck about Metacritic and reviews because they're going to get review bombed. What does it matter? If a game is successful or not, it's still going to get review bombed. Like it's absolutely ridiculous.
Final Fantasy 16's reviews are an 8.2 user score.
Right, I'm saying, but it got review back. True or false? Did it not get review bombed?
It had the first day.
It got review bombed. Right, that's what I'm saying.
It immediately leveled itself out within the next couple.
Right, but that's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is that the internet community will go
review bombing is.
I get it. Review bombing is different than.
I don't consider a review bomb if it doesn't do any lasting damage to the user score, which in Final Fantasy 16's case it didn't.
I don't know. I can't agree with you on that because it's still a review bomb if the score is deliberately being lowered because people don't like something.
Right,
they want to like when it comes down to like reviews and when it comes down to like Metacritic ratings, right? Like you have a very small amount of time to make an impression.
Like
right?
to go and say that this game deserves Ravenfall fucking or Redfall fucking scores is absolutely asinine. Like completely and utterly asinine. To say that the game that is out right now, that has been out for less than, it's not even been 2 months, right? We're not 2 months into this game's fucking launch to expect I should get to have a Redfall release.
Well, honestly, you're kind of making a bad point on that though. Like it's only been out for 2 months and they're already nerfing the fucking game by 30 to 50%. That's a rough look.
They're not nerfing the game. Like they are
factually nerfing every single damage type globally.
Did they not?
How is that not nerfing the game?
Did they not increase every single character? Every single class got a buff.
Yes,
every single class got a substantial.
By 30 to 50% globally as well.
But they also buffed their class by 50%. You know, in some cases.
Dude.
So I'm just saying that like this doom and gloom argument is fucking bullshit. Like the fact that they're saying,
oh my god!
And tell me one game. Go back to PoE and look at when PoE launched. It launched in a terrible state. It wasn't even fixed until a year and a half past its point that PoE was actually a viable game to where it is now. It is anywhere close to today. You go back to something like Diablo 3, Diablo 2, any fucking game, right? And you tell me we're a month in that they're going to have everything nailed down. It's perfect and whatever else. And that that even we were getting a content update within a year or within a month.
I'm going to go off on a limb here. Obviously, I don't have the data in front of me, but I'm going to go off on a pretty big limb here and say I don't think that PoE within their first month or 2 months globally nerfed by 30 to 50% all damage types and all resistances and all armors.
Yeah, sure. I'll agree with that. I doubt that they did those nerfs.
Especially,
that they did a nerf like that.
Especially the night
I also
before a season release.
I also doubt that they had the player base or community that Diablo 4
regardless
had.
If they had the,
right?
We're not
well, you're not gonna have the data
player base.
You're not gonna have the data.
We're arguing. You're arguing. Your specific version. Your argument right there was show me any game that within the first month did well. Right. I argued back that PoE. I'm pretty sure did not nerf by 30 to 50% within the first 2 months.
I guarantee that they had. Did they nerf across the board? Absolutely not. Did they have the data points to, in my mind, to be able to probably do it? No, I don't know. I'm not there to.
I
tell
would
you as
I would have to go.
why.
I would have to go and look at that, but I'm pretty positive. I'm pretty sure that they would have gotten the exact same amount of hate for doing that. And the problem and the difference between Diablo 4 and PoE. Granted, PoE's been out longer than Diablo 4. Obviously, I will argue that Diablo 4 has been out longer than PoE. Blizzard has been, or Diablo itself has been out longer than PoE. Blizzard itself has been developing action RPGs longer than the PoE staff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Between the two, PoE feels like the more enjoyable game for me to play right now.
Go back. I would love for it to go back to whenever time.
I'm not saying back then. I'm saying right now. For me specifically, I would rather play PoE right now because I actually feel like my character is powerful. I feel like I have the same amount of what's called
Did you not go into? In fact, actually, I know Mark. I know it because we were in a conversation. You said you slept on the rogue. You went on the rogue. You played the rogue.
I did sleep on the rogue.
And
yeah.
right. And your experience on that rogue was that you were having a good time. You were killing shit. You're not gonna come to me and say, "Man, I slept on the rogue." If I was not going out there and obliterating shit.
No, I'm not obliterating shit at all. I'm actually struggling fairly hard with a lot of higher end like elites and shit. Which, granted, 100%, I should struggle like a decent amount with elites. Again, I went and did a 50 plus whatever those things are called, right? I was getting my ass handed to me for the most part. I was going through fucking health pots like crazy. Granted, yes, 100%. It was above my level. I should not have fucking
By how
been
much?
there.
How much was it above your level? You were level like 20, correct?
20. Yeah,
right.
by like 20. Yeah.
So you're 30 levels below where you're supposed to be.
But again, I also had two other people that were of the level that they were supposed to be in there. So yes, 100%, I was doing well, but I was by far not doing great.
You shouldn't be doing great at that.
No, 100%. I'm not arguing with you on that, but I didn't feel powerful. I really like, even on my road right now, I don't feel powerful. You should feel powerful. Action RPGs, the entire reason for playing an action RPG is the power feel.
Bro, but what I'm saying is at that level, at that stronghold, at that discrepancy, you should absolutely not feel powerful.
I should be getting my ass handed to me.
And I guarantee that if you were to walk into any dungeon at your level or whatever else, you're going to be able to nuke shit because everybody said.
No, I wasn't.
Well, then there's some bigger issue that you've got with your class because I can tell you right now, as a Sork, which is everybody is telling me is fucking bullshit, I'm going in and having no issue walking through my dungeon and completely just decimating anything that comes in front of me.
What level of a Sork?
Early level.
20. Yeah. I'm level 20.
Yeah, you're gonna. Every class is gonna feel that way.
Once you hit that, yes, I do. Again, whenever I go through just a regular fucking dungeon, I am still having difficulties with the last boss. I am still having difficulties with elites. Yeah, 100%. I'm rolling through basic gray mobs. Yes,
you should. So you're in boss. You should have that. You should have some level of difficulty to it.
I'm not arguing with you,
right?
Yeah.
And your elites should pose a little bit more of a challenge.
Nobody's arguing with you on that,
right? But what you said is that you don't feel that you're saying that you contradicted yourself by saying, well, I do feel powerful, but I'm not feeling, but I don't feel as powerful as what I should. And that I don't feel as powerful when I go into a dungeon.
I don't personally feel as powerful as I did on my Necromancer when I first started. Which is what everybody has said, that their base level, their base power, they don't feel the same as when as before season 1.
Okay, so they're blowing through. So the argument then is I'm blowing through the content at a slower pace.
I wasn't blowing through the content at a slower pace or a fast pace on my Necromancer before season 1. I was blowing through my content fairly slowly on season 1, in my opinion. And I still felt pretty decent, at least on my druid.
There are other ways of manipulating a game and giving your players a more challenging experience, a more fulfilling experience, because that's the biggest thing is people don't feel fulfilled with what they have committed their time to, whether they've put 50 hours in, whether they've put 500 hours in. There is a drop across the board in players' feelings of like success with what they have invested. The time investment has been, the joy that you get from the time investment has went down all the way across the board. The game has slowed down. That is due
And the game was
to
already slow.
be
I was
to
just gonna say
BS
that's why I
to
stopped playing the
BS
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's due to BS reasons. It's not due to them making harder content. It's not due to them adding more content. It's not due to them altering the content that was in the game in a reasonable way. It is all in a way of making players feel worse playing the game.
So
And that is never going to be a good thing.
On top of that, it also feels like they've made these changes to force you to play the game for longer. That's what I've
It's
heard.
the
a lot of
Pandora's
people.
box analogy.
It-
Once the lid's off the box, you can't just seal the shit back up. Once you've given people a power fantasy, you're going to have people backlash at you when you take an aspect of that power fantasy away, whether it's survivability, whether it's damage, or in this case, whether it's both.
Especially when you do the nerf again, and I know you say that it's not worth even remotely talking about the top 1%, right? Or that's what I'm thinking you're saying, at least. But like when you nerf for the top 1% and the base level of everybody that was never an issue, right? Like they were struggling, they were still going through the game slowly, right? But you nerf because of that top 1%, right? It doesn't feel good.
So
It never feels good. It doesn't feel good it doesn't feel good in League. We've talked about it in League where they do nerfs and buffs based on professional play. The people that are playing like 8 to 14 to 20 hours, a day in some cases. We've talked about it in several different games, right? Like nobody likes to be nerfed because of the top 1% that spend entirely an unhealthy amount of time playing the game.
So
right?
my final statement on all this, and then I'll open it up to you guys. Lee, give your final statement because we're obviously over our time. And I want to make sure that everybody gets a final word in this. Is that so? I completely agree with you on a lot of things when you're talking about like quality of life, where Blizzard should have put their focus. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't even think season 1 should have come out yet. I think season 1 should have been down the road. And that we should have gotten quality of life changes, those types of things first and foremost. And I think they could have altered the base game currently to give us that content that they want versus trying to rush out a season 1. What I will say on all of this though is that in my mind, the argument of making the game slower, the argument of bringing everybody down, making the game so that again, we bring everybody down, we buff everybody, not one class didn't get.
The buffs didn't outweigh the universal nerfs. Stop using that argument because everybody still feels worse even after they buffed all the classes. It didn't even out to take.
I never said it was going to even out. I'm just saying that everybody that one of the main arguments that has been in this game from the very beginning with every single patch is that everybody gets nerfed. They never bring a buff. They don't bring a buff to any fucking class. Period.
Nobody got
buffed.
Every single class got a buff. Every single class got a buff.
They all feel worse still somehow. Is it a buff if everybody feels worse to play?
I disagree that
they
feel worse to play.
If everybody feels worse to play.
I think the reason that people feel worse to play is because they go in it and they wanted instant gratification. So in my mind, if I have to work to get my gear,
is it
if I have
still
to,
a buff if everybody feels worse to play? If you pick up
I don't feel that the game is worse to play. I don't feel the game is worse to play. So for me, yes, it feels fun.
You're one voice in the entire community that's saying that the game feels worse to play.
And I'm giving you my opinion. You feel like it's worse to play. It's fine. It's for you. It's worse to play. I'm sorry. I find enjoyment in the game. I think that the game is still fun.
You enjoy taking more of your time to do the same stuff that you were doing before.
I do not want to be given everything in a fucking instant of an eye to be given my best in slot at level 60 and then be bored with the game because I don't have anything to fucking grind toward. Like, what do I care if I get everything instantly?
Problem to put more content into the game instead of slowing down the game as is with nothing meaningful added on top of it.
With the content that I got, like I like the malignant gems. I like the malignant changes. I think it's another way for me to be able to grind. I can do Hell Tides if I want. I can do the Tree of Whispers if I want. I can go do my capstone dungeons if I want. I can
Which
go
is
do
all stuff you could have done from drop.
You're right, and they gave me another piece.
They gave you
slower
one
because
minor piece.
I am not getting all of this gear just shoved down my throat at every second or I get my best in slot at level 50 or 60 and I'm done. Like, yeah, I am okay with working hard to get the content and want to continue to grind out a game. So God forbid that I am one of the people that I don't want instant gratification. I'm not saying you guys are. I'm just saying that I don't have a problem with them
gratification.
Well, then what is it about?
It's about the characters that have already been played, already been built, feeling worse.
if mark my words that I guarantee you that in a matter of 3 weeks, I'm gonna say less than a fucking month, all of this bullshit that everybody is bitching about, barring that Blizzard doesn't give in, and I hope, and I am one of the few that says I hope they don't. I really hope they kind of give them the middle finger
tomorrow.
I hope they give the middle finger to the entire community and say fuck off, right? And that's it. And they go do their thing. I honestly do, because I want to see in 3 weeks time, when everybody builds and finds these uber fucking things, that they're doing the exact same bullshit and nobody is saying a word. All of the crap that everybody is pissed off about, and in 3 weeks it's all going to be
Blizzard
done.
will nerf those.
Sure, right, okay, fine. They're gonna
So
they're gonna create the game
right
that they
we're right back to
feel
where we
like,
were. We're right back to where we were, where everybody's complaining about the fact that Blizzard literally nerfs everything.
The issue is that you're gonna continue on this path like they did with World of Warcraft, where your numbers become so astronomically stupid that the game is no longer fun to play because it's pointless.
It's an action RPG.
That's a development issue more than a.
It's an action RPG. That is what you're supposed to feel powerful in an action RPG. That's the entire reason you play
powerful
an action RPG
in this game. Like I don't.
Again, it's the Pandora's box argument. They've opened the lid. They have left the game. They opened the game in the state that it was in, and now they're trying to seal the lid on the box. You can't do that in a way that's going to make people feel good about what you're doing.
I don't think that no matter what they would have done, people would have felt good. I just don't think that
That's
anybody.
if they
hadn't globally nerfed 30 to 50%, people would have been fine.
So if they hadn't globally nerfed all of that stuff, they would have brought vulnerability and crit. People would have been pissed. People would have fucking lost their shit. If they would have not done a global nerf and they would have buffed a few classes or nerfed a few classes, or let's just say they didn't globally nerf anything and they brought down the druid player down to where they're not doing instantaneous amounts of damage, whatever else, the people are still gonna fucking so they don't do a buff and they bring that class down because it's broken, or for whatever reason that there is, they bring it down, it's busted, people still they leave it alone, people still like it's a no-win situation. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that it doesn't mean
it's making the content harder without neutering the players.
How do you do it?
Think outside the fucking
how
box
do you do
other
it?
than dropping the number slider.
How do you do it?
PoE seems to be doing pretty well with it.
Because PoE does nothing but wrong. What PoE does is they add additional mechanics into their season that is where the power fantasy comes from. It's not that they innovate the way that you're going to feel powerful. It's just that in that season, you go after those gems, you go after those pieces of gear, you go after content.
No,
and that's what
completely inaccurate, because I felt just as powerful. I felt fine with my PoE character without doing any of the seasonal content.
You can feel fine doing all of the stuff now in Diablo 4 without having to go after them.
Not for me personally.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you.
Like you've pointed out
through dungeons
several times. Like you've pointed out several times. This is just how I feel. My personal opinion is
your personal opinion.
The game is worse than when it released. Which is
disagree.
Saying something, because it's 2 months into the fucking game. Not even 2 months.
I disagree, and I would argue the point.
On top of that, it's the eve before a fucking season release. You fucking drop to 30 to 50% fucking nerf. That's a great way of getting people back into your season.
Drop to 30% nerf and buffed every class. Just want to make sure if you're going to talk about that, if you're going to say there's a nerf, a 30% global nerf, you also need to include, they also buffed every single class's damage output across the board. Like everybody got a damage buff across the board with their skills. So, and the argument that I would say, Bill, or the thing I would say on that about find a different way. What do you want to find a way to make the game harder? Okay, do you increase minion minion health? Like do I increase minion health?
Because
if I do,
they actually did.
So if I increase, so if I increase minion health, I'm not going to feel as powerful. If I decrease the character power, I don't feel as powerful. Like the question you ask is not there's no answer to it. I can't give you a harder game.
And that's on the Blizzard development team to figure out. That's not on me to figure out.
That's not on anybody to figure out. It's impossible. It's like trying to count to infinity. How do I make a game harder, but yet I can't increase the thing that I'm fighting's health or damage output, and I can't decrease the character. So what am I supposed to do? Like those are the two options that are kind of out there. Am I like?
It's pretty easy. Have a public test realm. Make the fucking changes in the
But you
public
still
test run.
have to make one of those two
Get
changes.
get your community's opinions on the changes that happen in the public test realm, and then push out the changes that
But
your
you
community
still
wants.
have to make one of those two changes. That's the point. It's a lose-lose
Yes,
situation.
But at least with the PTR and the public test realm and everything like that, it's what your community wants. Right now, this
there's
is not what their community wanted.
But what they're, I'm in a room with their community. 3 out of the 4 members here play the game, and 2
Yeah, and 3 out of the 4 members don't
can't agree.
with you.
Well,
No, three
Scruffy doesn't
members
get-
agree
Scruffy doesn't even
completely.
count. He doesn't even play the fucking game.
Three of them. Hey, you're the one that brought up 4. Okay, we'll bring it down to 2. 2 of the community members agree completely. One of them doesn't.
Correct. So if you make the change based on what you guys say, I'm gonna get pissed off.
Yeah. So
And if you make the change that I
if you
want,
make the
you
changes
guys are
based
gonna get
off of
pissed
what
off.
you want, which is what they did, the top 1%, I guess
I'm not
is
the
what
top
you are.
1% because the top
I mean,
1%
when it
is
comes
still
to us two,
bitching.
when it comes to us two, you are the top 1% because you put more time into the game, right?
I will say, as a casual, of games too, like I'm leaning more towards Bill and Enigma because I am a casual player. I'm not that hardcore player that's gonna grind and grind and grind. And
I wouldn't even say that you're a casual player. Like,
I
no
digress.
offense, but I don't think you're a casual player. If you don't put any time into the game, you're not a player. Like you played the beta.
I'm not saying of Diablo. I'm saying in general. So I'm on their side. I can't speak on Diablo's part. I'm just looking at it from an outsider's view. So like I'm saying as a casual player in general, like he made the analogy of League, like they're doing nerfs and all this stuff because of the top players, the professional players, like
Which
I'm not going to be happy.
I'll point out, Sin has complained about multiple times
Absolutely.
in the
Yeah,
past.
I'm not going to be happy when that top player is causing my Echo to be nerfed because he is putting countless hours of amount of time into the game and
Right, but if
doing everything, so
if at that point they're what they're doing is they're bringing it down because it's either breaking the game or it's not working or it doesn't do something that they're wanting it to do or it's intended to do or it shouldn't be doing and they nerf it, then that's a valid reason. If they're just like, oh well, I'm doing this because the one player can pull off this kind of combo.
But that's what they're doing.
But that's
That's
not. They
100% what
literally
they're doing.
brought it.
They
and if I'm the
those
top,
nerfs, they made those nerfs based on the fact that people were putting out trillions of fucking damage. The top 1%, again, the people that put in hundreds of hours a week
I also
into
would
the
bet
game.
you. I would bet you that the people that are putting in that there are more people putting out trillion points of damage than what you think. It's not just the top 1%. And if it's the truth that the top 1% that I am the top 1% and I enjoy this nerf,
I didn't say
that's
that you were the top 1%. I said
no,
you were the
top
top
1% in this
here.
podcast, right? In this podcast, right? If I am considered the top
Based on game
1%,
time.
right? I'm still in the outlier because almost everybody universally, which again I've already said, maybe my opinion is not right for everybody. Like maybe I'm stupid,
not
right?
right
But like, fine. But I'm just saying that everybody is reeling over this, and I think it's fucking bullshit.
Because it's a worthwhile thing to reel over.
I will agree though. It does seem, and it is an impossible task to try and appease the entire.
You're not going to be able
audience.
to appease everybody. You're never going to be able to appease everybody.
But what
The
it
problem
seems like
is,
they're
and
not
this-
even trying to come up with something else. They're not
Yeah.
even giving an effort. They're going for the easy cop out, which is pretty much what they're doing right now with season 1. All the nerfs across the board, everything.
It
It's an
all boils
overstatement.
down to the
know.
ineptitude behind the Blizzard development team. They should never, if this is what they had to do to quote unquote fix the game, then there were more problems at launch than anybody could have expected. And again, third time I've said it, you can't give people that at launch and then take it all away and expect people to just accept it.
I don't know. I think both are overstatements of it. I think you're right in the fact that there were more
if the game was
problems.
broken to the point that they needed to nerf stats. We'll just go with stats because you get upset whenever we say that all classes got nerfed. All gear stats across the board 30 to 50% to bring the game back in line. That is a problem. That is a fundamental problem that the game launched with, that they're now
Trying
having
to
an oh
fix.
shit moment they're trying to fix it, but it should have never been that way to begin with. They should have recognized that this was going to be an issue. They should have done more testing. They should never have opened Pandora's box.
No shit, but there's no way. Like there's yes, there is umpteen amount of ways to PTR test or whatever else. Once they hit a launch date, they launched.
Guys, we
the
gotta-
game was
we gotta
broken.
wrap this up.
Yeah, we'll discuss this later. Anyway, for the Pre-Patch Podcast, episode 91 is in the books. We do have some quick hits that I can go over really quickly.
I don't think we can go over it. We're
nope, we're
literally
done? All right.
30 minutes almost
Okay,
over what
well,
we're supposed to be.
We're getting cut
We'll
off.
we'll get
Alright.
to we'll get to those news next week. But anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy the time. I know that we sound like we hate each other's guts at the end of this, but we actually don't. We love you, everybody, and everybody here will make up and kiss and continue.
This cast, man, I just work here, man.
to call me a whale. It's been fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure to go and again like and subscribe to our YouTube. Go hit us up over on Twitch. Go to your favorite podcasting app, anchor.fm/prepatch podcast. Send your emails. Go to the Discord. Go listen to all the other 90 episodes, and we will be back next week at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. I will not be here. I will be in. No, I will be here next week. It's the week after that, but I will not be here. For episode number 92.
92, baby.
See you
Calm
guys.
down those days.
Bye.
Arrivederci.
Doses.